Alrighty, guys. Welcome everyone to the 27th episode of Coaster Time, hosted by me, Carrick from Coaster Hour. And if you are new, how these live streams work is basically we go through a bunch of different segments: news, trivia, Q&A discussions, and a lot more where you, the viewers, can participate in. And with me today, I have a highly requested guest, Nick from Cedar Flags. So if you could tell us a little bit more about yourself, that would be absolutely fantastic.
Of course. So you can hear me, right? Good?
Yeah,
Hear
we're
me?
good.
Got it.
Also, guys in the chat, let us know if the audio is good on both ends. But yeah, you're good on my end.
All right. So my name is Nick. I'm from Cedar Flags. I have been doing YouTube since around 2016. 19 years old, from the state of Ohio, home parks, Cedar Point and Kennywood. And I've just been doing roller coaster content on here for the fun of it, and have gained a bit of a following doing it.
Awesome. I have all his channel links in the description if you haven't checked them out already. There were some technical difficulties on my end, and also I think some notifications didn't go out, which is not ideal, but hopefully that'll sort itself out. But it looks like the audio is good at least, so that's great to hear. And with that being said, we're going to go straight into the news if the audio is all good. If that's good with you, Nick, we're going to go right into it.
Let's go.
Alrighty, so I need to get it up real quick. Yeah, once again, apologize, guys, for the lack of the intro. There was having some issues. We're going to go right into the news. We have a lot, but unfortunately, we're going to start on a bit of a tragic note because something very unfortunate happened very recently, and that is that a 22-year-old man named Riley Valken passed away while doing maintenance on the Montreal Ferris wheel in their Old Port section of their city. Very tragic to hear about. Maintenance workers, I really do believe, are some of the most underappreciated people in the entire theme park industry, just because you don't really hear too many people praise them, and they do go into a line of work that really is, there is definitely some danger involved, and as we can see here, that is kind of how it turned out. So very tragic to hear about. I can't even imagine what the family's going through, and yeah, just tragic situation for all involved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see incidents like this happen. An incident similar to this happened on the Orlando Starflyer.
Jake Kaminsky, yeah, immediately thought of him when this happened.
Yeah. Oh, it makes me really sad when I see these accidents that are like people working on the ride to make it safer. And these are all
Exactly.
just freak occurrences. Really unfortunate.
Yeah, it's really tragic. So I do believe they have set up a GoFundMe for anyone interested in that. I think that might be in the link I put down in the description. Like, I have the article, but I think it might have a link to that in the description. So for anyone interested in that, check that out. But obviously a very tragic situation.
Oh, definitely.
Moving on, we have our basically big five from a few weeks ago. I'm mostly covering the news from the last 2 weeks, but there were five big things that were from prior that I felt were worth covering. So we're going to move to that, and that is one of those things is Holiday World. They are shrinking Hollywood Nights to 500 people for 2022. In order to improve the experience, and the park will choose who gets to go based off application forms. What are your thoughts on this, Nick?
Okay, so I know a lot of people have been complaining about this, but I'm actually a really big fan because last year with Hollywood Nights, you saw the incredibly long lines for Voyage. I mean, they were like 2 hours, I think, like at least an hour and a half. And I think this will make the experience more enthusiast-centric. And I think this is honestly pretty good for the event. Though I know a lot of people like go into this event, and I could see where the complaints are, but I guess I can kind of see how they're doing this as well.
Yeah, I have never been to the event, but honestly, I thought just from hearing of what had happened the past, I'll just say 2, maybe 3 years, this was probably a change for the better, just to make the experience like better, just not having to wait long lines to ride Trimless Voyage and the other rides. So definitely makes sense in my opinion, but definitely something worth noting.
I know a lot of people who have RSVP'd for that event. So,
Yeah, there
yeah,
you
best of
go.
luck to them.
Yeah, best of luck to everyone who's doing that. So Certainly an event I look forward to going to at some point in the near future. Our next bit of news, Sun World Nature Park in Vietnam. They recently announced a new fully built GCI coaster called Roaring Timbers. Yes, that is really the name they went with. I mean, it's actually a pretty cool name other than the fact that we've had some other Timbers coasters. But it will open in 2022. It's going to be 2,799 feet long, 95 feet tall, and feature one of the most beautiful atmospheres of any wooden coaster I've ever seen. So it's right there in the jungle. It looks absolutely stunning. So very interesting new coaster to kind of pop out of nowhere.
It looks a lot like Thunderhead at Dollywood. That's what it reminded me of when I first saw it. Like very compact. You have a lot of the terrain advantage in the layout as well. It definitely looks like it's going to be a great roller coaster. Like look at those pops of airtime right there, especially the one right under the crest of the first lift hill. That looks pretty insane. The steepness of it.
Yeah, I think Thunderhead is a very good comparison. You look at the compact layout and everything and the terrain usage, that's a great comparison. But this coaster, yeah, it looks sweet. So that's not a coaster probably a lot of people like maybe on here are gonna ride, but it's interesting to see what GCI is coming up with. So really cool to see this ride for sure. Next thing I have is the Thorpe Park new proposed hypercoaster. Of course, this was the thing that like broke the internet when it was released. But we have some new info about their proposed hypercoaster. It is supposed to be the tallest coaster in the UK. And it's going to have a layout, at least based off the concept art. I don't think it's necessarily finalized, but it's going to have a shorter layout with inversions, like I said, based on the concept art. And while this is not confirmed, it is heavily believed that the manufacturer will be Mock Rides, but we'll have to wait for confirmation on that. But we'll have to see what happens. But the coaster looked crazy from the concept art. What are your thoughts?
There are so many questions I have with this project because this thing, if you want to call it that, the layout's just so unconventional. It reminds me a lot of like a British steel curtain, if you will.
Yeah.
It's very, very compact, but it looks like it has a pretty big punch for what it has. I mean, that element in the distance right there in that picture, the first one on the left, that element just looks so unorthodox. It looks crazy. And I think all of the elements on this ride are going to provide something different and something very unique. I don't know if this is in the running for like what could be the new best coaster in the country, because there's some very good coasters in the United Kingdom, especially with the new spinning cars on Icon. But I have to say this ride looks incredible for what we can see right now. Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, it does look absolutely incredible. And I mean, if its competition in the UK is, I know they have Smiler and Nemesis, although we'll see what, although I've heard some things about Nemesis in recent years, but if this is indeed a Mock Rides coaster, they're going to have that and the spinning cars on Icon, so that's pretty cool. So,
and Thorpe Park has really needed a new coaster, especially being near London. I mean, this is going to be such a good fit.
Oh yeah, like I mean, they have it's been a rumor ever since I've been in the community, like just when's the next one coming, or I guess just a talking point, and looks like we're finally gonna get it, so that's awesome. The next thing we have is, and I'm not gonna show the picture because I don't want to have any issues, but I have a link in the description if you want to look into it. SeaWorld Orlando and B&M's Project Penguin layout was leaked. It was very interesting to see it. It is still unknown if this coaster will really happen. I predict it will, but we don't know that for certain. The layout was interesting, to say the least. What are your thoughts on it?
I'm going to be honest, I am not the biggest fan of this layout. I mean, it's going to be nice to see SeaWorld get another coaster, because I could see the company with the SeaWorld branch of parks pushing more on amusement rides and trying to focus less on their animal shows that have been highly controversial. But I have to say the layout doesn't really look like it provides much for the park itself. I know the surf coaster trains are unknown, and we don't know much about this coaster whatsoever. But judging based off of the layout itself, it looks like a fine ride, but doesn't look like anything that's going to pop out or impress anyone compared to the likeness of rides like Mako and Kraken and even Icebreaker when it opens up.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I do think for sure, though, now that we have seen the layout, there is going to be some unique seat configuration, whether that's a stand-up or something else that maybe we're not thinking of. It just has to be because I'm like, I mean, this doesn't really do anything new for the park, as you said, so there has to be something with
Yeah.
the seat configuration because otherwise, I'm very confused by this coaster, but we'll have to see how it turns out if it, of course, happens, which that is still a major question. So we'll see how that goes in the future. The next thing we have, and this is the last of that big five I was referring to, Wicked Twister is being taken down. You can see pictures of it online everywhere. It even appeared in the Cedar Point Christmas video they did. It is being taken down, and the parts will be shipped to the other impulses in the Cedar Fair chain. Thoughts on this?
Crazy. Well, Cedar Point, one of my home parks, I go here all the time. It's crazy to see this ride starting to be taken down because even with the information we know, I mean, we know that the parts of this ride are going to Cedar Fair's other impulses. So we know that this ride isn't going to be necessarily rebuilt based on what we've seen. And it's just crazy to see this ride being torn down because even though it didn't get a lot of riders, looking at the skyline going down the causeway, I mean, it was a very major coaster in the park skyline, especially in the front.
Yeah, it certainly had its presence, like just in a bit of it in its own section and along the beach too. So very weird that it's no longer there.
There's,
But
oh, sorry.
no, you're good. I was just gonna say that we'll have to see what becomes of the land, basically.
Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be such a big hole in the skyline, but I've been thinking about it more and more, and I really don't know if they're gonna add something large there due to the plot of land it has. But like, I feel like there's gonna be something around there that's gonna use the plot of land. I just think if they don't move that giant wheel, that's gonna be some prime like sightseeing right there without Wicked Twister being right there. Just all of Lake Erie.
That is interesting to think about for sure. Good point you bring up.
And they have barely teased anything. Like the Christmas video, if you've watched throughout the years, they're always teasing like next year's plans or something very small to look at. But we have heard absolutely nothing from the park except that Wicked Twister is being torn down. And of course, the Frontier Town situation with the antique cars and the new restaurant. But when it comes to rides, we are completely oblivious right now, which is something that Cedar Point's doing pretty well at hiding.
Yeah, it does make me also wonder if I assume something will come. I would assume they would get a new coaster, if not in 2023 and 2024. But it is
Yeah.
interesting now that haven't been teasing much recently. So, or at least like with the last Christmas video. So, very interesting for sure. The next thing we have this is the news basically from the last 2 weeks. Montagna Russa, which is actually a Schwarzkopf speed racer, similar to Whizzer, partially derailed. Now, good news is the riders, there were a few injuries, but they're not believed to be major, so nothing really serious happened here. Very unfortunate, though, that a rare ride like this, something happens, but that is something that happened. So, there you go. This is in Colombia.
Yeah, it was crazy to see this. I'm really glad there weren't any major casualties, no fatal injuries during the accident. I mean, these ride models are becoming rarer and rarer every day. I've been glad to ride some of these old Jetstar Whizzer models. Like I got to ride Tigger Coaster at Indiana Beach, which I know isn't too similar to this, but I also got to ride Whizzer at Great America. And these rides definitely have their fans, and definitely I know the parks love to conserve them. So I really hope that this model could see some future light as well. I hope these models could stay up, and this accident won't hinder anything dealing with the destruction of these rides.
Yeah, this is actually, in terms of speed racers, which the same model as Whizzer, this is only the second. There's only two operating. This is the second one, so pretty unique rides. Next, we have our ride openings. There's a lot to cover here. Steel Taipan, which is the Mock Rides Blue Fire almost clone, but with a multi-pass launch, I guess. That has opened along with Big Dipper at Luna Park, also in Australia, the Intamin single rail coaster, Light of Revenge, which is a Intamin Blitz coaster that's similar to Cheetah Hunt, but it does have its own differences, basically modernized Cheetah Hunt. We also have Hainan Ocean Paradise, a new park in China that actually has an Intamin vertical lift coaster. Now that vertical lift coaster has not opened, but it is testing along with the Intamin family spinner they have there, which is also a pretty unique thing for Intamin. So those are some of the ride openings. Any thoughts on any of these rides?
These are all very unique rides. I mean, I was not expecting there to be a Blue Fire clone with spinning trains, a very similar ride compared to Cheetah Hunt. I mean, I've gotten to ride Cheetah Hunt, and I have to say that Light of Revenge, I mean, I am a huge fan of Cheetah Hunt, but I think that this ride has honestly shown all of Cheetah Hunt's flaws and all of the parts that are outdated and have updated them. I don't know if you've seen a POV, but there's like random airtime moments where there was straight track. It looks crazy. It definitely looks like a better version. It doesn't look too much better, but it definitely looks like an improved version, if that makes sense. In Big Dipper, let me tell you about Big Dipper. I was shocked when I first saw that test run. I was expecting it to crawl over those first few elements and speed through the last few elements, but I was wrong on both ends of that. So it definitely looks like a very unique ride, one of Australia's best, honestly. So I'd have to say it definitely looks pretty good. Pretty good fit for that park as well. Very small.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that for sure. With Light of Revenge, it is so weird. Like it whips through the first two inversions, and then afterwards it just kind of dies. It's kind of interesting, but it still looks really fun. We also have a few other ride openings. We have Orlando Slingshot and Orlando Freefall. These are the two tallest rides of their kind. They just opened, I believe, actually yesterday. We have Texas Wildcat. This is not a picture of the actual coaster. I couldn't get one, but it's of Cedar Point's Wildcat, so kind of close to it. But Texas Wildcat, that's the short
one at Cedar Point.
The one in the picture is, but that's not the one that just opened. Texas Wildcat is a relocated Schwarzkopf Wildcat from Lightwater Valley in the UK. That's the park that has
really?
Ultimate.
Yeah, the Ultimate.
Yes, yeah. And then we also have Majaland Praha, which is the largest indoor park in the Czech Republic. Just decided to throw it in because why not? It has a kiddie coaster, so for anyone going there, there's a new credit. But yeah.
That drop tower looks crazy. I got to see construction on that when I went back this
nice.
April. It wasn't too far in, and I got to see like once the structure really started to be in pictures, and it just looks crazy. I mean, that thing looks so tall. Isn't it like 430 feet?
I believe it is 430, and it slightly tilts too.
Yeah,
it slightly tilts.
Yeah, oh my goodness, that looks crazy. And that slingshot. Have you ever gotten to ride one of those? Those things are crazy.
I want to.
So fun. How tall does that go? Like 500?
I think it might break 500. I don't remember the stats off the top of my head, but it's something crazy.
I really like the concept of Icon Park. Like they're creating all of these flat rides and just breaking all of the flat ride records at once. You have the tallest Starflyer ride, you have the tallest drop tower, and now the tallest slingshot. It's like, what are they gonna do?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It is nuts. I mean, it's crazy what they're doing. The next few things we have are ride reopenings. Speaking of Cheetah Hunt just reopened after a 2-month refurbishment and I think repaint. But I mean, it didn't get like a new color scheme, just like a normal repaint. That reopened. A pirate ship ride at Efteling reopened after being closed for 6 months. Orbitron at Disneyland Paris, which is basically the equivalent to our Astro Orbiter. That is reopened after being closed for a year. And Galaxyland, their go-karts, which I think they were closed for probably over a year because I know they've had a long journey to get back open due to COVID. Those reopened and are now themed to Hungry Hungry Hippos. So that's something.
That's cool. That's pretty cool. I actually had a friend who got to go down to BGT like a day after Cheetah Hunt reopened. He said just felt the same trains, same smoothness. It definitely looks a lot shinier. Definitely looks like it did in 2011. So I think that's what they were aiming for, something minor. And I know they're doing that to Montu as well, aren't they? They're doing a
Oh,
small
are
repaint
they?
on that.
Huh,
That's
I
what
was not aware of that,
Yeah, I
if
think
they
they're putting
were.
some new paint on that as well. But no, definitely, I'm pretty glad that they did that, as well as some of these other rides. I mean, was that the Hungry Hippos before? Or was that just a
No, it
random
was
old?
I just probably just a random like bumper car. It's so weird.
I'm also really glad that they got to reopen their Astro Orbiter, because from what I've experienced from Magic Kingdoms, it's not open as much as it should. It's
Ah,
yeah.
huh,
I remember when I
interesting.
got to go, the whole time I was there, like it was just down, and they said it was going to be down for months at a time. So yeah, I don't really know much about it, but oh well, I'm not sure about that.
You're good. Some of these next ones I'm gonna kind of zoom through because we have quite a bit of news, and some of these aren't as significant, but but I'll go into that when I get there. Let's see. So we have our coming soon rides. We have Blue Fire, a Blue Fire clone. This is not this is I'm using a picture of Blue Fire because I couldn't get one for this coaster, but there's a Blue Fire clone opening at Xuzhou Paradise in China. Probably butchered that, but I'm trying. All speeds at Sunac Land, Chengdu. That is the Tehran clone or similar coaster, depending on how you classify it. I have a picture of Tehran here because I also couldn't get a picture of that. And Typhoon Lagoon is going to reopen on January 2nd. This is the second Disney World water park. It's been closed since March of 2020, so long journey to get back, almost 2 years. But
Oh my goodness,
it is
really?
returning.
They haven't
Yeah,
had their
I
water
know.
parks open since COVID.
Well, Blizzard Beach was open. Typhoon Lagoon was not. I assume this is the
Oh,
worst doing of the two, so that's probably why. Um, but yeah, there you go.
crazy.
Though they're supposed to open on these dates now. All speeds, I don't know if it really will because sometimes, especially with the Chinese parks, they have an opening date and sometimes they don't meet it. It's happened quite a few times with some of the other things I've reported on, so just keep that in mind. The Blue Fire clone should open. There's a POV of it out now, so I expect that should open on time. And I would think Typhoon Lagoon would too, because I mean it's Disney. They better get that on
Yeah.
time. But those are your reopenings. And then ride closures. All you got is Flash Speed Force at Magic Mountain, a flat ride that was in the DC area. That's basically it.
Like closing for good?
Um, I should also add this in. Yeah, it is expected to be closing for good. Some people are saying maybe it'll come back, but I'm not expecting it to. It was a Himalaya style like flat ride.
I'm gonna be honest. I've never heard of this ride.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, I love those old school Himalaya rides. They are so fun. But it's weird to see one being themed to DC. Like it's just very unconventional, if that makes any sense.
Yeah,
And
weird. Oh
oh,
wait, no,
sorry.
you go. No, you go. You got
And
it.
with the addition of Wonder Woman, I think they're gonna try to update that area a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Funny thing is, I thought that the Wonder Woman flat ride they actually have at Magic Mountain, I was pretty convinced that was on the chopping block, even as far back as the early 2020. So it's weird that they're getting a Wonder Woman coaster, and now the ride they're removing within the area is the Flash themed one. I'm like, huh.
I didn't think about
I
that.
didn't see that. I didn't see that one coming. I go to Magic Mountain a lot, so.
Oh, that's
Uh,
awesome.
but well, I say that I haven't been in 2 years, but soon.
I've I've asked you this before. Have you been to Cedar Point, right?
Yeah, I went
Oh,
once in
the
20
big two.
2019.
The
Yeah.
big two.
So,
Sweet.
yeah, perfect timing too because I went before 2020 and 2021. So,
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you
yeah.
should be really happy you didn't go during last year. This year was fine, but last year was a train wreck.
Yeah, it I've I've heard mixed things from people who've been, so there you go. Next we have Drayton Manor. This is the
Drayton
park in
Manor.
the UK. They are teasing a new attraction. We literally have no idea what it is. They have this teaser with a V, which I think people are assuming is kind of Viking themed. I'm not 100% sure on that. But I think there's some videos out there that kind of go into more like speculation, but they are just teasing a new attraction or something new at some point. Not really much to say here because I don't know much else about it, but there you go.
I feel like if it were a bigger project, I feel like they would be teasing much more, like talking more about it. I definitely think it's going to be something noteworthy, but not something that's going to be like the new standout attraction in the park necessarily.
We'll see. It might be the beginning of something too. So who knows?
That is true. That is true. I
I haven't been following this, so I wouldn't know. But
the park's standout's like an intimate stand-up, so I guess it wouldn't be too hard to make a new standout attraction here.
yeah, I know there's some people who have some high hopes for this park, so hopefully this will be going towards that.
Oh, definitely.
Toverland, they are retheming their log flume for 2022, basically to just fit in with their area around it. I think it might have been, I don't know if it got changed, but regardless, they're gonna retheme it to kind of fit in with the area better. So we have that. I'm gonna zoom past this one because this is like pretty self-explanatory. And Indiana Beach is receiving Cyclone in 2022, which is a relocated Cyclone coaster from a traveling circuit in Mexico.
Yes, they are.
So there you go.
Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they're gonna have this and American Dreer looping. So that is that's a nice two coasters to get. I don't know. I've heard mixed things about Cyclone coasters. Hopefully this one is on the better side of the ones that are out there, but should be two nice additions for sure.
Very excited about this. I'm sorry I keep mentioning it. I am a huge Indiana Beach fan. I am so excited to see this park being like saved in the process and them adding 2 new coasters. I fell in love with this park last year when I went.
Yeah, it's really awesome that it
this
was
park.
able to be saved. It's incredible. So definitely can understand that. I mean, I've never been, but I do want to go. And the job they're doing there, it looks incredible. Like what they're doing. Gene Staples in a new ownership, so that's great. Next we have Fun Spot Kissimmee. They are receiving a new rock and roll flat ride for 2022, kind of classic flat ride sort of thing. And this is the picture they posted, so that you have that there. And then we also have Leesburg, they have announced a new Zamperla Nebulas ride, along with a technical park sidecar, which is another flat ride, along with, and I'll remove the banner, a new custom Vekoma family boomerang for 2023 that I believe is said to be the longest one ever built. I mean, it is a Vekoma family boomerang, but it does look really nice, especially if the trains are going to put on it. So I guess those are some things to look forward to for Leesburg.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually got to see a few of the renderings for this too, and I believe that a layout for the Junior Boomerang was released.
I believe so.
Yeah,
or at least portions, I believe. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the aesthetic of this I love so much. Just the nebulas, like look at the detail of that. The more you look, the more details there are. This is definitely going to be a great area that's going to pop out.
Oh, for sure. Leesburg, it looks like an incredible park, and this certainly seems to be adding to it. For sure. So will be interesting to follow this too. Next we have let's see, Kodoland. So Ace of, I think I forget which one it was, but someone from Ace reached out to, or the other way around. You can look at the link in the description if you want, but basically Ace South Central, that's what it was, received a message from one of the higher up people from Kodoland saying that something iconic is coming in 2023, and that we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. But they are teasing and receiving a major new attraction in 2023. We have no idea what this could be. I mean, they're already going off this upcoming year with a log flume, a their Sky Coaster like ride, Sky Blazer, and then of course also Palindrome. So will be interesting to keep an eye on what they're getting for 2023.
That's so nice to see this park starting to grow. I wonder if they're going to still market themselves as a kiddie amusement park after making all these
I don't
major
think so.
attractions. I just
Nah.
love how it still says, and they still market it as a kiddie park.
Yeah, they'll fix it. Their website is kind of in early stages, so
Yeah, this park's like 2 years old, ain't it?
yeah, it's not very old at all. So
Yeah.
they'll get their stuff going pretty quick here, I imagine. But looks pretty exciting. I know there's some speculation that this could be a relocated coaster of some sort, but we'll have to see what happens with this. What exactly this major new attraction is.
I'm so excited to see what comes out of this place.
Yeah, it should be exciting. The park is certainly one that's up and coming. The next thing we have is Six Flags Fiesta Texas. They are operating Sky Screamer with a harness for a limited time, and this looks absolutely insane. So
This looks like one of the best flat ride experiences you can get on one of these rides. I love this concept so much.
yeah, it looks amazing. I was talking with someone the other day, and we were like, imagine they put this on the Orlando one.
Oh my goodness. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that would be like insane because the Fiesta Texas Sky Screamer is about 200 feet tall, if I'm correct. And
Yeah.
obviously the Orlando one is a good bit over 400 off top of my head. So that would be insane. But even still, I mean, this is pretty cool to see. It'll be interesting to see if Six Flags implements this with some of their other parks, if they make more seats with this harness, or what they're going to do with it. But certainly something to keep an eye on. This might be something that we see at more places. Or maybe it's just a fad and it'll go away. I really hope not, but
It looks
Should
so
be
cool
interesting.
nonetheless. That would be so cool to be on one like that.
yeah. I mean, it would be... this is like one of probably the more terrifying ride experiences out there, but would be really cool for sure.
Have you
Next-
been on? Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you go. No, you got it.
Have you been?
I
on
have
a
not
Sky
been on
Coaster?
one. I haven't been on one of
Oh,
these.
okay.
No.
Okay, I
Or
was
I
just
haven't been
curious.
on a Sky Coaster or a Starflyer. I've been on neither.
Really?
Because the only one I could have done, I think, is at Discovery Kingdom. So, and I've missed it.
I got to do both the Sky Coaster and the slide sled variant on the one in Kissimmee.
Oh, that's sick.
Oh yeah, definitely. But yeah, I can't wait to see what comes out of this.
For sure. The next thing we have here, and I will preface... Well, actually, I'll go into it after I explain. But Six Flags Qiddiya has reached a $3.75 billion construction contract, and they also had a groundbreaking ceremony. This is obviously the park that's getting Falcon's Flight, the one that is being funded by the Saudi Arabian prince, I believe. So obviously, that's garnered a lot of controversy because it is one of the less accessible countries just around the world. But in terms of the park itself, we'll have to, even though they did groundbreaking, it's not for sure happening, or at least for sure getting constructed, obviously. We've had parks that have gone well underway in construction that haven't made it, but perhaps it will make it. It'll be very interesting to see how this project goes, because, I mean, this park looks just insane if it gets built. And, of course, Falcon's Flight, if that gets built, that's going to be one of the craziest and potentially best coaster experiences out there. So there you go.
Hyperion looks like a fever dream. It's crazy because we saw the last tallest coaster in 2005 and the last fastest in 2010 and the last longest in 2000. This is going to shatter like all three of those records.
Yep.
Oh, this thing is going to be mental. It's going to be one of the craziest ride experiences ever if completed. I am still very skeptical on it, on this whole park as a whole, because this just seems so I don't know how to, like, groundbreaking, like so revolutionary to the coaster industry. You're gonna have a tilt coaster there, you're gonna have the tallest shot tower by SNS, and then you're gonna have Falcon's Flight, like, in a bunch of stuff on top of that.
Yeah, the theming also going into this looks pretty crazy. Like looking at the concept art, I don't think funds is the issue. I'm just there's just because, like I said, it is being funded by the prince and I believe the government too, so they have plenty of money to work with. Kind of like Energylandia, how that park's funded by the government. Look at what they're doing with it. So I think this is kind of even a step up from that, but we'll see what happens.
This is like Fiesta Texas on steroids right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Like basically Fiesta Texas and Energylandia, and then put some theme park in between there. It's like a combination of all those, I would say. It's a crazy project and one to keep an eye on, like I said. The next thing we have is Palace Entertainment. They have purchased Adventureland in Iowa, speculated to be because of the River Rapids accident that happened in I believe in the summer. I forget if it was in June or July, but they have purchased the park, and so they will now be the new operators of Adventureland. What are your thoughts on this?
Oh, I'm so happy about this because Kennywood's one of my home parks, and Palace is the proud owner of Kennywood. I love how they've been operating Kennywood. I mean, Steel Curtain, even though the operations could be better, but itself, it still is preserved as the same vibe as what you would get with a family-owned park. And same thing with the Lake Compounds, a beautiful park as well that I will be getting to next year. I think this is one of the best decisions I've seen in the past week. In this major period of news in the coaster industry, I am so excited to see this because regarding the accident with the River Rapids ride, I was not happy on how the park handled that.
Yeah, it was awful.
I really think that could have been a preventable accident. And it's really nice to see a major company step in and take hold of this park.
I have never been to a Palace park, and I've heard from various people very different things on how Palace runs their parks.
Oh, definitely.
You're certainly on the more optimistic side.
They're not the best, though. I could tell you that right now.
But I was kind of hoping this would be a Hirschend purchase if anyone was going to get this. Now, obviously, Hirschend, they haven't done the best park with a park, say, Wild Adventures, but I was kind of hoping they would come in and swoop this. But still, I think this is still an upgrade just because the previous ownership, how they handled the whole accident, with all the things that, caused it to happen, and also kind of the aftermath, them insisting that they were going to reopen the ride, and they kind of operated as if nothing happened was...
Yeah.
Not a good look, so I still think it's an upgrade.
Yeah, Palace, let's say Palace stepped in and bought Kentucky Kingdom. I don't think I'd be too much of a big fan of that, but it's a very big step up from the previous owners of the Adventureland Resort.
Yeah, and also the family that previously owned Adventureland, I believe if there were to be a lawsuit, they would not get out of it by this sale. Basically, they would still be responsible. So Palace is free of that for anyone wondering.
Seems very similar to a few years ago. I don't know if you follow water parks that much, but Schlitterbahn incident. Yeah. Cedar Fair came in and crazy stuff.
There was actually some news that came out about one of the guys from that. You can look into it if you want. I didn't put it on here. But it's kind of a wacky story. I'll just say that for anyone who wants to look into it. You can look it up on Google. It'll come up.
That's a crazy story.
But yeah. Next thing we have, Alabama Adventure has announced Cheddar Chase coming in 2022. This is a new a relocated L&T Systems Wild Mouse from Lake Winnie in Georgia that was called Wild Lightning. Literally like Wild Lightning. It doesn't have a G at the end. And they also said that there's going to be 4 big announcements throughout 2022. Don't know what exactly that means, but guess we'll have to find out. This certainly seems like a park to keep an eye on. And this coaster the logo for this coaster looks great. And I've heard this Wild Mouse is actually pretty good as far as Wild Mice goes. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a great fit for Alabama Adventure. Definitely a great supporting coaster there. I think Rampage, of course, will still remain supreme at the park, but this ride is going to be such a good highlighting steel coaster there. I think this is definitely a great choice for the park.
I think the other thing too that people didn't necessarily talk about is this was probably really cheap to get. The coaster is in pretty good condition. It literally was only like I think 5 hours down the road from this park.
Oh yeah.
So transporting it probably didn't cost all that much. And I mean, the coaster, like it had only stopped operating like a year earlier, so it's not like you have to deal with probably a whole lot of refurbishment. So they probably got this for like a really good deal. So good job on Alabama Adventure for finding this coaster.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really glad to see this once again, and I can't wait to see what's coming out of this park in the future because a lot more people have been talking about it in recent months.
Yeah, I think they are gonna get something big or bigger, kind of like a Gravity Group Woody or the Gerstlauer Eurofighter, but maybe just a little bit further down the line. But it's certainly a park on the rise. Next, we have the official animated POV for Air Force One has been released on Christmas Day, and I mean it. There was already some recreations of the POV that I thought were quite good, so I didn't care for this as much, but I guess it's nice now that we have an official POV.
Yeah, I think this is really nice because as someone who has in the past recreated No Limits coasters from renderings, it's nice to see it from an official park perspective where we could see what the elements are going to run like, how it's going to be. And this ride it still shocks me to this day. I mean, this tiny little FEC in South Atlanta, Georgia is getting this massive coaster, which could potentially be one of the best in the world. I mean, this layout looks phenomenal. And all of the elements just look like they're incredible. And I'm glad that I finally got to know what the chili dip was. I was really, really wondering. And I mean, it's nothing unique, but still, this ride just looks crazy. Just this rendering, the POV, it just doesn't look real. It really doesn't. It's crazy.
Yeah, someone commented here in the chat, and yeah, if you looked at the POV, like it kind of the official Google Maps import, it literally went through some trees and branches. That was pretty funny.
Oh my goodness, it's so cool to see these small companies like they're making such a massive coaster like an RMC, and they managed to fail at the smallest, most like useless things, and it's just so funny. Like no one's really mad at them either. They're just kind of laughing like with them. It's so funny.
Yeah, but it definitely was nice to finally get like you said, an official POV from the park itself. So that was certainly good to see. Next, we have the Beast at Kings Island. It is getting a Gravity Group retrack, specifically 2,000 feet of track will be replaced by Gravity Group's engineered pre-cut track. Some portions include like the first drop. I need to pull it up here. What other sections are going to be put in?
Parts of the Helix, I know that.
Yeah, I believe so. The article's in the description. Yeah, so certain portions of Beast are going to be retracked with this new technology Gravity Group has. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. I know some people aren't the most happy about it, but I think this Gravity Group track, the engineered pre-cut track, is something definitely to keep an eye on in terms of maintaining wooden coasters, because this track, if you look into it, it's insane what this thing can do. It's 30 times stronger than traditional wooden track according to Gravity Group, which is insane.
What?
Yeah.
Really? Oh my goodness.
It's something that like they announced it earlier this year and not that many people paid attention to it, but like it like is kind of a game changer for wooden coasters if utilized correctly. So and that's the track that I believe they're putting on this. They did that for Racer, so
they
there
put
you
the
go.
same track on Racer?
The pre-cut track, yes. They put it on Racer.
Well, I guess I've ridden a prefabricated Woody. Based off of Racer, I got to ride Racer earlier this year during post retrack, and it was running perfectly. But I think the ironic part is it's running way smoother than some of the modern gravity group coasters I've ridden, like Mindblower and Kentucky Flyer. So a big concern I have for this is the age. Like as it comes with age, is it going to slightly get rougher? Like how's that going to work? Because you see these GCI treatments like Ghost Rider at Knott's, and it's still very smooth all these years on. But it seems like gravity group coasters get rougher quicker. I don't know if they changed it with the track. I don't know how it's going to be. But if it runs smooth, then I think this is going to be a very good addition.
If it's 30 times stronger than traditional wooden track, that probably fixes the problem. I assume it'll probably age nicer. So
that's crazy. This is a crazy story because I think they're actually reprofiling some of the track. Did you hear about that? Like they're making the drop like 5-6 feet taller or something. Like what? Like,
they're steepening it too, I think. So
that's gonna be awesome.
It's extensive, the work that's going into this, but should be interesting to see how this rides when it reopens for those of you near Kings Island. The next thing we have is, and I couldn't get the drop tower on here, but I do have the video in the description. PAX Rides, the legendary PAX Rides, they have announced a new 70-meter Freefall tower model, a new drop tower. So they don't really make new coasters anymore, but they do still make other rides. So they have a 70-meter Freefall tower model that also has a slight tilting feature. So
I have it pulled up right now. I have not seen this actually.
Yeah. It has all like the copyright stuff on it, so I'm like, I'm not gonna put it on here.
Oh my god, there's like, that's crazy. 70 feet tall. That's gonna be a very tall drop tower. Like, it's nothing to look over. Something I'm concerned about though are the buyers. I mean, like when you look realistically, people are gonna look at S&S and other manufacturers like that, and like even with more people looking at manufacturers like SBF. I don't know if parks are really going to look at PAX when it comes to a drop tower. I just don't. I'm not sure. Maybe in Europe and Asia, but I don't think over here in the States we're going to see one of these at least permanently.
Yeah, probably. I think it's probably more for Europe because PAX Rides hasn't really done much work here. But hey, for those of you in Europe, something maybe to look at because maybe one of your parks will. Near you will get it. So it'll be interesting to see how this goes.
Oh, definitely.
The next bit of news we have, this is not the B&M Wing Coaster going to Fantasy Valley in China, but you get the point. It is testing. I have the video in the description as well for Roller Coaster Dream, I believe. Yes, it is. Very interesting looking layout. Looks kind of hyper-like, but it's a wing coaster. But it is now testing, so... there you go. That is something that is interesting, and I did not expect it to be testing this soon. I assumed this was like still pretty well under construction, but I guess it had already been built up. So, or wait, no, actually, no. I remember reporting on it, but still crazy. Crazy.
I remember watching the first video of this ride testing, and I'm not even gonna lie, my jaw was on the ground watching it. I've seen other wing coasters. This ride just looks like it kills all of them. Like in my opinion, personally, this ride just looks incredible. I'm not sure why I think it looks that good, but oh my goodness, I'm not usually hyped over the newer B&M Loopers, but this ride just looks insane.
This one, it looks. I need to look into it more. I looked at it. I thought it just kind of looked weird. So. I definitely I could only take a glance at it because I think it started testing during like a trip I did, so I couldn't really. I'll have to look back at it, but I know there were definitely a lot of reactions to this in forums and Discord servers, so I'll have to look into that a little more. Next bit of news: track for a Mauer Spinner, Mach Water Coaster, and Mach Hyper have arrived at Hangzhou Bay Sunac Tourism City, which is an upcoming park in China. I actually believe this is the one that was supposed to be the Six Flags park, but it never happened. So, or it's related to that project in some way. So, yeah, they like another Mach Hyper coaster.
That's gonna be sweet.
So that's really cool to see for sure.
Do we know if it's going to be a Flash clone or?
I don't believe so, and I think there was a layout leak that may have came out a few days ago. I couldn't look into it too much, but I do not believe it's a Flash clone. I think we at least know that, but I would have to look back on that to be 100% certain.
It's crazy to see like rides like this appear overseas. And us Americans, like we look at this and we think, oh, that's pretty cool. But if like that same ride would be coming to, let's say, an American park, it would be the #1 story everywhere right now. It's just
Yeah.
weird to see how big the world of coasters really is.
Yeah, that's for sure. And actually, speaking of international parks and international coasters, supports have arrived on site for Fuji-Q Highlands 2022 coaster. Once again, link to the actual picture of it is in the description. But this seems to fit in line with the Intamin motorbike rumors. Definitely looks like that is what we are getting with Fuji-Q Highland. Not confirmed, but definitely what it looks like just from the supports that arrived on site. So,
I wonder, like, didn't they say a roller coaster was coming out in 2023 or 4 that's going to be like extremely expensive?
They actually did say, I think it was, I forget if it was originally scheduled for 2021, but they did say they were gonna get a new coaster a few years ago that was gonna cost around a little over 30 million US dollars. So it is a little surprising that it seems like this is what it's gonna go into. Maybe it's gonna have like a lot of theming, or maybe they're doing, I'm not exactly sure what's going into this, but yeah, this is apparently that coaster. So
really, oh my goodness, I did not know that.
And the rumor is that it's a motorbike, and it definitely seems to be leaning towards that. So it pretty interesting. But they do really need a family coaster there, or at least a newer one. So yeah. I don't think it's like, I think it's a fine addition, but it's just crazy that that's what they're getting for the price tag.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. The next thing we have is the Vekoma facility. Red Track was spotted at one of their facilities. We don't know what this is exactly for. Some people have speculated it's for the tilt coaster. They're actually building a prototype at one of their facilities. Yeah. So there was that was spotted. The picture is in the description. Anything you have to say?
Well, I have to say, Vekoma's been absolutely killing it in Europe and Asia recently. It's insane to see what amazing things they're doing. And oh my goodness, I really want to see one of these tilt coasters happen soon. Like, imagine like in a modern tilt coaster. That would be the best freaking thing. I know we're going to be seeing one of those at Korea if that's going to happen. But yeah, I definitely can't wait to see what comes out of this track.
I think more will be built. If Vekoma is building a prototype for it, they're planning to do more with it. So certainly something to look forward to. Next thing we have is Prairie Screamer at Trader's Village. This is the relocation of Scandia Screamer. It has gone vertical. And so that's great to finally see. It is now slated to open in spring of 2022. So
that's going to be cool. I'm excited for this ride. I love these high milers.
You've actually done one?
Yeah, I rode Hurricane at Fun Spot Kissimmee.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's sick.
Funny. I have a very funny story with that ride actually. Oh my goodness. Long story short, I was the only one in that area of the park. Got like 3 Zens in a row. It was so funny. It's a great ride though.
Yeah, I actually missed. I'm in California, right? So Scandia Screamer was kind of always on my radar, but it was kind of in a weird location, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get to it. Then it they did give some notice, but it wasn't like, it wasn't enough for me to go there, and I just missed out on it. But I expect I probably will be able to ride this because this coaster is literally like 10 minutes away from over Texas, so. It's like right there. It's really close. So
awesome.
Yeah, looks like a fun ride. And then, believe it or not, this just came out today. Venus GP, which used to operate at Space World in Japan, has gone vertical at Himeji Central Park. This was Mauer's first ever coaster. It's the one with the inversion that was said to be pretty intense. And you can see the picture. Also, I have a link to that in the description because that was taken by a visitor visiting the park. But it is indeed coming back. It was rumored to happen. That was rumored to be like the space they were making for it, and it is indeed coming back. So that is crazy that we're finally seeing this return.
Where is it returning? Like, is it the same location? Because you're
Venus GP was at Space World, which
Yeah.
was a park in Japan that died. That was the one with the Aero Hyper and the.
loved Space World. I didn't know if it was the same location. I don't know.
Oh no, the park it's located, it's going to now. Himeji Central Park. They have a Batman clone. They have a Togo coaster, and they have the first generation Intamin drop tower that has water buckets.
Yeah,
So it's going to that park.
that's sweet.
So, although it is silver now, I guess they, which is kind of weird, but it's been like that for a bit. I don't know why they did that, but yeah. And the next thing I have, one of the last two things, this probably has broken the record for the longest news segment, but that's all right. There was a lot of news, I think more than I've ever had. But Skyline Park in Germany will receive a new family and thrilling coaster for 2022. This is sort of a rumor because it came out of a fan site. People are saying it's confirmed. I just wanted to put it out as a rumor because I'm not 100% sure this is happening. Details are very scarce, though. We don't know manufacturer or anything, so just take this as a bit of a rumor. I do think this is really happening, but the site was in a different language, so it was kind of hard for me to confirm, and it wasn't from the actual park. So, but I know some people are reporting this is actually happening. But yeah, looks like this park is growing. They're getting that huge new Gerstlauer in 2024 that was announced a few months ago. So now they're getting some stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
They also got a Mauer, one of those Mauer
Spike coasters.
Yeah, spike coasters, yeah.
I think that one didn't do so hot, if I remember
really?
correctly.
Really?
Yeah, I think that was one of the ones that had a lot of issues.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
But it apparently this spike is very strange, is something I've also heard. So,
Oh, yeah.
and they also have a Mauer Skyloop. So, as you can see from the pictures, so there's that. And then of course the big thing that came out yesterday, plans. Of course, also a rumor. Plans for the Knott's Berry Farm Giga have been leaked. I have a link to the thing in the description. And I will note this because not a lot of people have covered the original source. I have sort of tracked down where this originally came from. This coaster. Oh wait, did you mute yourself?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Oh, I was like, wait, okay. No, that's all right. And then, basically the original source for this was posted on the basically Coaster Reddit Discord. It's not the official Coaster Reddit Discord. But someone posted it like randomly just saying they were trying to get it on the Reddit and it was taking forever for the mods to look at it. So they just posted it on there and then it spread like crazy to the other Discord servers. And then that's also how I believe Drunk Riders podcast got it, which they're the ones that a lot of people are crediting. So because they put it on Instagram and then it went really crazy afterwards. But the source, who knows? It was pretty if it's legit or not. I mean, I think it is. The plans look like really legitimate, but the source was kind of weird. So that's the one thing I will say about that.
The thing about this, one more closing thought, is some people are like, oh, it's just a leaked layout. It shouldn't be like 100% confirmed. But like, you know how many Cedar Fair coasters have had leaked layouts?
Yeah.
It's been the layout. Like since Banshee, I think like every coaster besides like the 2018 coasters have been leaked.
Yeah. And then also someone pointed this out earlier. Knott's Berry Farm is actually going to do a major overhaul to their hotel, I think this upcoming year. And well, why would they be doing that if they weren't prepping for something like a new coaster that's literally going to go right by it?
Oh, definitely.
So you have that, and then they have the whole like sea level thing where the heights are like based on like the sea level, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I don't think someone would make that up. So I do think this is legit. And I think we'll know pretty soon whether or not this is real, because I think if this is real and it has been approved, construction will probably start before the middle of next year, I would imagine. So it potentially even early like next year. So we'll have to see what happens with this thing. But it is crazy to hear about. I'm super excited if this happens because I'm in California. So, and Knott's needs this coaster so bad. Because Ghost Rider just carries the load in the crowd, so they need something to like basically just take some of the crowds away from it, and this will probably work. So
and the capacity, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Have you ridden a B&M Giga?
Nope, never ridden a B&M Hyper or Giga, and I'm almost at 100 credits.
Wow. Man,
Yeah.
Fury and Orion, like their dispatches are crazy. They're insane. Like 30 seconds from the time it pulls into the station to the time it's crazy.
Hopefully, well, Knott's doesn't exactly have the best operations is my only concern. You can see that with Ghost Rider. That's like kind of like my only knock on the park is their operations are, their dispatches specifically aren't all that fast, and they haven't been for quite a while. I don't know what the deal is, but hopefully they'll get that together for this ride, and regardless though, it'll be a fantastic addition if it happens. And that's gonna do it for the news. I'll go into the channel announcements a little later because this went pretty long, so that'll be the plan there. And next we'll move into our first Q&A session. So that's going to be how that's going to work. I'm going to put the banner up. Basically, you can ask questions for either of us, whether it's just one of us or both of us, doesn't matter. Basically Q&A, and that'll lead into the first quiz. So that's going to be the plan there. Do I not have a Q&A thing set up? And then, yeah, it'll lead into the quiz. So Q&A, and then here's the code for the quiz. I think I also have the link pinned in the chat. So let's go. And also, if you see any questions you want to get answered, then there you go. Then you can point them out to me also. But yeah, what is the best theme park parking lot?
The best theme park parking lot.
I mean, Mount Olympus, it's got to be up there because they got Hades like going underneath. So
I'm really trying to think like what could be the best parking lot. The best by looks and the worst by layout simultaneously, Dollywood. I love the look of Dollywood's parking lot, but oh my goodness, it is a chore. Have you been to Dollywood?
No, not yet.
Have you seen the layout of the parking lot? It's a horrible. We parked. It was a pretty busy day. Me and my friends on the road trip. We parked. We had to walk like a good 1.5 miles to the front entrance. It was horrible. It's like walking from Gatekeeper
brutal.
to Steel Vengeance. It's crazy.
Magic Mountain also has an awful parking lot situation, so I will throw that one out there.
I love I love Kennywood's parking lot. I mean, home park bias, but it's like multi-leveled. It's pretty cool. You have like the normal parking lot, and then it's like up a hill. Pittsburgh is such a hilly city. You go up and you go up. It used to have a sky ride. Like if you're at the top of the parking lot, you could ride the sky ride down to the bottom.
That's sick.
But they got rid of that. And it's best when it comes to accessibility, Kentucky Kingdom. I love Kentucky Kingdom's parking lot. You just park. It's like parks right there.
Yeah. Like best out of the ones I've been to, shoot, the problem is, I mean, Hershey Park, I think, had actually a pretty good one in terms of accessibility.
I do like Hershey's.
I'm going to go with that. And Magic Mountain and Discovery Kingdoms are like terrible. They're super far away from the entrance. Thoughts on Skyrush's restraints? I'll let you go first for this one. You're wearing the shirt.
Repping the Skyrush shirt.
Actually, I got the Ghost Rider shirt just
really?
because of the. I got the.
Oh man.
I have that. I do have that Skyrush shirt though too. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you ridden Skyrush?
Yes, of course.
Oh, I know I'm in the unpopular range here. I'm a huge fan of the restraints. Like, you know, the people that like him at least don't love them. I love those restraints. I don't know if it's because I'm a bigger person. I think they're better than the RMC restraints.
Ooh,
I really do. Like, I don't get the hate. I mean, when you're sitting on the brake run, it gets a little like uncomfortable, but then they pop up. But during the ride experience, you don't really focus on that. You focus on the airtime and the ride experience itself.
Yeah. For me, I think I've said this before, but basically throughout the ride, I don't think it's like you can notice the pain, but it's not that bad. And yeah, you're mostly focusing on the ride experience. On the brake run, even though they do pop it up a little bit, it's still, I think that's where it gets at its worst, especially if like it stacks. So,
yeah,
which oftentimes happens, just because, I mean, it's not a very long ride. So, that I think it's worse at the brake run, but I'm not gonna take that away from the coaster itself.
No.
Unless the coaster doesn't really do all that much, like Pony Express, which has the same problem, because you're just being squeezed on the motorbike restraint. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but let's see what else we have.
Have you ever been stung by a bee on a coaster?
Yes. Wait, where did that come in? Where is it?
Imperial Coaster 709.
Yes.
Stung by a bee.
It's a classic question on here.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, it's a classic.
You have?
No. I have not. The person who originally asked had, but you haven't, I assume, right? Or
no,
have you?
Okay. I have not. I've been like shocked on a roller, like electrocuted on a coaster, like slightly.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
Actually, I like put my hand out, and there was a tree, and it was like a bad shock. It was like, oh my goodness, that hurt. My friend also, my friend on Cheetah Hunt, we went down the Busch Gardens, Tampa. He accidentally called 911 on Cheetah Hunt. Accidentally butt dialed them.
Oh my god! Yikes!
When we get off the final brake run, he gets a call from the Tampa Bay Police. It's like, oh my goodness, it was funny. It was so funny.
Oh my god, that I mean, that's funny, but it's also like a nightmare scenario.
They handled it well though. It wasn't like a serious thing or anything.
Yeah, that is crazy though. Someone asked favorite wild mouse.
Oh, okay. I have two.
All right, what is the one? Psycho Mouse at Great America. Yeah, that's my favorite.
A lot of people hate the Zamperla ones. I love the Zamperla ones
the
so much.
The spinning ones?
No,
yeah, or
the stationary ones.
Like what ones for reference?
Twist and Shout at Family Kingdom.
Okay.
And I know there's one in New Jersey, but no one likes it. Like, everyone's like, oh, they're so rough and painful. The laterals on that thing are insane. Like, you feel like you're gonna fall off. It's crazy. But when it comes to favorite overall, I'd have to easily say Exterminator at Kennywood. The theming on that's crazy. It's unlike any other wild mouse. It's crazy. It doesn't even feel like you're on a wild mouse.
Yeah, that's certainly one of those ones that looks really good. So
look at a Coaster Roasters comment from 713. See, I'm telling you, I'm in the minority here.
Yep, there you go.
Yeah, Doo-Wopper at Maury's. That's the one I've been thinking about. I love those. Those are awesome.
Ooh, worst food we've ever had at a park.
Ooh.
There's two that come to mind here for me.
You can go first. I'm trying to think.
So, and this one's a new one for me. I don't think I've actually discussed this. Let's see. So the two worst. There was one rainy day I went to Magic Mountain where I got Chop 6. They had recently redone it. It used to be a Panda Express. I hope the food was bad, but like it was kind of cold and it like just didn't taste nearly as good as like the Panda Express beforehand. that was awful. Like, that was legitimately bad. And then Six Flags Discovery Kingdom, I had like a burrito there. It was, once again, kind of cold, and it didn't really taste very good. So those two definitely would have to be the two that I'd have to come up with. Probably the Magic Mountain experience over Discovery Kingdom, for sure.
I have two.
All right.
The first one is Kennywood's Pizza by Steel Curtain. I can tell you right now, Pittsburgh has some good pizza. That area of the country, I mean, some of the best pizza you'll ever have. It wasn't good. It really wasn't good at all. Nowhere near the worst pizza I've had, but it was pretty bad. But another really bad food I had was at Holiday World, and it's this place called the Alamo. It's this like Mexican themed. It's a Mexican restaurant that's themed to the Alamo, so it's like Tex-Mex. I don't know, but it was there, and it was like a week and a half into this road trip, and I get Mexican a lot, and we didn't have Mexican once, so I'm like, hey, let's eat at the Alamo, and it wasn't good at all. It tasted like expired homemade ground beef. It wasn't good at all. It was like, what is this? This isn't Mexican food.
Probably just a tip, but probably don't get Mexican food in the middle of nowhere in Indiana. I don't. I'll make sure to avoid that.
Oh man, it was funny. The restaurant was so funny too. Like, it was the cutest little restaurant.
I'm sure it looked nice, but
it did look very nice. It looked nicer than it was quality. The funny thing is, none of my friends wanted Mexican, and I'm like, oh, can we please get Mexican, please?
And that's what you got.
And they loved it. They loved it.
What?
I don't know why. I grew up in a very cultural city. Like, a lot of like immigrants are here, and a lot of like cultural restaurants are here. So like that could be why. I don't know. Just nowhere near the quality of some of the Mexican places I've had.
Living in California, we have a lot of good places, so I'm pretty worried. I've been to Mexico too, so I mean, obviously, but so I'm a little worried going to some states where it's like I don't think I'm even gonna bother.
Yeah, if you go to Holiday World, just skip the Alamo. Great park, bad restaurant.
Yeah, I'll avoid that one for sure.
Oh, definitely.
Let's see what other stuff we got. Let's see. Probably only we have 3 Q&A sessions, so I'll probably make this one a little shorter, but we'll do like 3 more questions. If you have a question we didn't get to with this one, you can ask it later too. So
what about I like this one. What is the scariest thing that has happened to you at the park? And I'm not talking about scary rides.
I'd have to think about that. I don't. Ooh. There's one thing that I would more consider just kind of creepy than really scary, but I guess I'll mention it. Although, do you have yours? You go with yours first if you have it.
Me too.
All right.
Actually, the entire visit I've ever had, the entire visit of Conneaut Lake Park.
Oh my god.
Weird. That place is crazy. That place is a fever dream. It is. If I were to talk about all the stories I had in the 2 visits I've had at that park, we would be here until like midnight, like your time, midnight. We would be here. Oh my! One of the stories, notably, is this guy was this ride operator very notably under the influence of something.
Oh no!
One time in another one, it was one of those flying scooters rides, and like at the chain parks, they look so professional and nice. This one, it's literally paper mache. Like, I'm not even kidding. It actually is paper mache. And I guess this is counting the scary rides thing, so I apologize. But flying scooters aren't supposed to be scary. This ride was scary. I was getting a Zen on it, and I was just talking to the ride operator while I was snapping. The ride operator doesn't have a booth outside. The ride operator just sits on a pedestal in the middle of the ride.
What?
And I saw it was at setting 3. And I'm like, I'm here by myself. Put it on setting 4. He's like, no. Last time we ran it on setting 4, people were crashing into the center of the ride.
Oh god.
Just like, what? Oh, that park was crazy. I'm so sad it's closing because even though that park was, I'm gonna be honest, it really was not a good park. I got to ride Phoenix this past year, Knoebels. Conneaut Blue Streak had these buzz bars that made Phoenix's look terrible. It had these tiny, it was like coaster at Playland level buzz bars. I remember sitting in the back row and legit thinking like this might be the end. Like it was crazy. And the ride was, it beat you up so bad, but still. One more story and then I'll move on. I apologize.
You're good. No, I'm looking forward to this.
Oh, have you ever heard of Devil's Den at Conneaut Lake?
Oh, I've heard of it, but I don't know much else.
It's so bizarre. It is known for having a wall of gumballs.
Oh, yeah,
over
okay.
the past few years. And you just see gumball everywhere. Like, and some of them look old. Like, some of them lost all their color. It's crazy.
Oh my god.
Oh man, it's actually my home park, but I mean, it's a crazy park. Okay.
Oh my god. I cannot compete with that. Mine, and I'm not. Oh wait, no, you go. My bad.
No, I wasn't gonna say anything. Just crazy.
Mine. Okay, I'm not gonna include haunt events either because I don't really have anything notable. I don't. It's not even related to rides, but basically, when I went to Discovery Kingdom during my last visit, I went on a spring break day, but and I don't know why it was like this. The park was completely disorganized the entire day I was there. But they have animals, right? So I went into their shark exhibit, and like a lot of the lights were not on, like in the exhibit. Like there's supposed to be lights in there. They weren't on, and so like there was like the little entrances to like the next room had like light, and that was like what was guiding you. to get to the other like places.
Oh man,
it's like I'm just like, what's going on? And it was even weirder because the entrance to it has like these like floppy things you would like find at mazes, like haunt mazes, and they had it there beforehand. I have no idea why, and it was like one of the creepiest things like I've ever experienced at a park up until you get to the shark tunnel, which funny enough, that's like the least scary part of the thing, right? Because at least it's all lit up and it's like, oh, well, this is how it's supposed to go. Although I think the thing you walked on was turned off because it's automatic, like it just moves. I
think,
but I forget how you explained that, but I don't know why it was like that, but that was extremely strange.
I think a good can I say one more like story about the scariest thing? So like this isn't necessarily scary, but we were nervous. Like we're like, oh no. And basically, long story short, we were at Kentucky Kingdom, and we went to Cracker Barrel after. I don't know why we went to Cracker Barrel, but and we saw, hey, there's an FEC like down the road. Let's go to it. And so we planned it, and it's closing at 10, and it's like 8:30. And we call them, and it's like, hey, can we buy your little pass? And she's like, yeah, I mean, we close at 9. I'm like, no, in the hours we close at 10. We get in the car, we go, and we get there at 8:55. We go in there, and we run to the front counter, and they are trying to get everyone out of there as soon as possible. It's an SPF spinner. It's nothing too crazy. We go there and we're like, hey, can we get on this ride? How much does it cost? And she looks at us, and they like, she's like, just go on the ride. Like, we don't care. They let us go on the ride, and we go around a few times. We go back to the front counter and like, okay, so how much does that cost? And they look us straight in the eyes and like, just go home.
Oh my god.
We got the credit, but that was so funny.
Oh my god, that is weird. What the heck? Those are some crazy stories. I'm happy. Like those are some legitimately good ones. Oh my goodness, some of the best we've had, and we've had like Sean Flaherty on here and Mike from Canopy Coaster. So he had a story about Blue Streak at Conneaut too. When he wrote it, there were literally sparks.
That ride is so. the tunnel before the ride, it's like there's rust everywhere. It looks like it's about to fall apart. There's this element in particular that legit gives you like whiplash. It's just
Oh
like
my
it's
God.
so snappy. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Oh man, that ride looked insane. Rest in peace. But at the same time, it might be for the best. But that park looked so insane. All right, I think
Alrighty.
2 more questions. Let's see what we have. Let's see. Is there any ones that you like that are coming up? Let's see. Let's see. I know there's a lot, but I'm trying to. It's favorite. What was the one you were going for?
B&M Hyper. You can't answer that one.
Sure, you can go ahead though.
Diamondback. I love Diamondback. Yeah, that's it. That's the answer. I don't.
I got let's see, favorite hyper coaster in general for me, because I also saw that was there. If you don't count Steel Vengeance, then Sky Rush, followed up by Superman El Ultimo Escape. So, yeah.
I like to count Steve in that. It's just like, I don't know. But I'd say traditional Hyper Sky Rush or Diamondback.
Yeah, those I haven't done Diamondback yet, but looks like a fun coaster for sure. And then no, there's no plans. I know this was news related. This won't count. I don't think there's any plans for any new Six Flags parks other than Qiddiya, because it's not even like truly a Six Flags park. They're just giving the branding. Someone else is funding it and the whole thing. So
yeah.
And then favorite boardwalk park. I just saw that. Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk easily. Love that place.
Funny enough, I live so close to the Atlantic Ocean, but like I don't think I've only been to one true boardwalk park, like what you would define as a boardwalk park. But like I would consider parks like Indiana Beach a boardwalk park, even though it's on a lake. Like
I would say so. I think it's.
If that counts, easily Indiana Beach, 100%. But if you count like a traditional sense, Family Kingdom.
The only thing is, though, if you count that, does Cedar Point technically count? Because it's.
I didn't think of that too, but Cedar Point really doesn't give that vibe.
Yeah.
Like, Indiana Beach, the people who have been there, it feels like a boardwalk.
Yeah. So, I mean, Indiana Beach looks good, and then you said Family Kingdom. That Swamp Fox looks cool, so.
The good news is next year's. I haven't talked about this. This is the first thing I've said about this to anyone. Next year, road trip, going to a bunch of them in New Jersey. Just letting you know.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that should be fun. But what was I going to say? Oh, okay. So I guess now we're going to move on to if you're okay with it, we're going to move on to the quiz.
I'd love that. Definitely.
So I need to get that screen shared. Actually, I need to pull it up on this thing. It's been over a month since I've done this. So this whole doing the stream thing, so it's kind of always an adjustment to get back into things when I've been out of it for a little bit, but I'll put it up on screen. I made this quiz also a little while ago, so but here it is. Anyone who has, let's see, so
now,
if you haven't,
am I joining this, or
you can join if you want. Yeah, absolutely, go for it.
Sweet.
Oh yeah, go for it. For anyone who hasn't yet, I'll give you like another 30 seconds to come on, and you can join the quiz. It is through myquiz.org. Link is in the chat, pinned along with the code, so should be able to get in.
Do the guests usually enter the quiz?
It's like half and half. Like sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It normally depends on the capability of doing so. So no, it's not unusual. It's unusual that one wins, but
I'll be the first.
Well, it's happened, I think, once. Ooh. No, actually, it has happened twice, so I guess it's not that unusual. Mike from Canopy Coaster did it, and Hunter from Theme Park Hunting / On the Hunt, I believe, did it as well. So it's happened twice, I believe, but it still is pretty rare. So,
man, I'm good on one. I can't find the quiz.
Oh, you can't get it?
Oh wait, I got it. Never mind.
Okay. Are you in?
Click on like demo quiz.
You in or?
No.
Really? I might transition to Kahoot in the future because I think it actually is adjusted to where I can do it that way, but I would have to look into it. That might be coming soon, but I'd have to look into it a little more. I can also send the link in the private chat, so if that helps out, I'll probably do that. That might be better.
Man.
So, you're in? All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, we'll get started in 3, 2, 1. That was so anticlimactic because it didn't start at the right time. First question.
Ooh.
Which coaster is faster, Hyperion or Shambhala? Also, it should be said no using RCDB for this. I mean, I don't think I need to say that, but I'll say it anyways if I need to. But that is the first question.
I legit don't know.
The correct answer is Hyperion. It travels at a top speed of 88.2 miles per hour compared to Shambhala's 83.3. Next,
You were around the same height.
yeah, Hyperion actually it's like pretty close to Giga height. So, second question: what was the original name of Bullet at Selva Magica? And
This one I know.
This is the so this is the one that operates at Guadalajara. So. But originally it was called Wiener Looping or Wiener Looping it might be because I think Wiener Prater is how you pronounce it. But it was that was its original name.
Truth be told, I still call it Wiener Looping.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. Where did Thunderhawk at Michigan's Adventure first operate at? The SLC. Correct answer here is Geauga Lake. So for those who didn't know, that's where it first operated. Hey, you're in the lead. So there you go. You might get the dub. Followed by Quacken and Coaster Roaster. Next question. What is the name of this coaster? The one in the picture. Hopefully it's a little bigger for you for those of you actually participating. It's a little small, but it should still be gettable. But this is a new Vekoma Shockwave that just opened also, so that should be a hint. And the correct answer there is Dragon in the Jungle at Dragon Valley Theme Park.
Business, ain't it?
It's close. It's missing the first launch section, but it has an extra inversion at the end. So it's a shorter version with an extra inversion. Pretty weird. Next question. In what year did CCI go defunct?
Really seems like that coaster really went under the radar compared to like Abyssus and the insane amount of hype that got.
I mean, I think it was known about afterwards, so that was part of it. And also it's in a country that there's not as many like coaster enthusiasts who can, I guess, just give their thoughts out there. So but yeah. Next question. How many riders can be seated per train on Airy Force 1 at Fun Spot Atlanta? And yeah, we'll see what you guys come up with. You're way in the lead now. So correct answer is 20 riders per train. That is the max. It is different from every other RMC. It's the only one.
I could promise you I did not look at this quiz beforehand.
Oh, you couldn't have.
Oh, really?
No, you couldn't have even if you wanted to. The next question. In what year did Kennywood first open? Probably also gives you an advantage because this is a park you're close to. Maybe you don't know. I'm not sure.
I do.
Correct answer is 1898 according to Kennywood's website. So there you go. I actually believe Wikipedia has something different, which is kind of weird, but that wasn't an answer on here. So yeah. Next question. In what country is Hypercoaster in? This is the mock Hypercoaster. What country is this in? Not to be confused with Flash. It is the same layout, but it is not Flash. And the correct answer is, this is in Turkey. So that's the correct answer. And then we'll move on to our second to last question, which is, how many inversions does Twisted Timbers have? Anyone who's ridden this does have an advantage, I suppose. But
such a good ride. I love this ride.
This one should be relatively easy. And the correct answer here is 3 inversions. So it has 3 inversions. Cedar Flags, you are in first. Little Imperial Coasters is second, and Quacken is third. And the last question, this has to do with the recent interview I released. Turbulence at Adventureland Long Island replaced which coaster? If you watch that, you will have an advantage.
This is the only one I don't know. This is truly the only one I don't know. So,
but and the correct answer for this one is
I got a
Hurricane.
Look at that.
It replaced Hurricane, which was an SDC Hurricane. So there you go. And so now with that being said, Cedar Flags got first. Congratulations. First guest in a while to place first. Imperial Coasters got second, and the Quacken got third, closely followed by Coaster Roaster. Great job to everyone who participated, and that was the quiz. So with that being said, we'll move on to our next segment, which will actually be a coaster tier list, which is great because I believe you released one, right? Since?
Yeah, Ohio Coasters.
So that's awesome. This one is basically, I changed the format. Usually I made it coasters that either of us have ridden, but basically I have 20 coasters here. 15 of them, at least one of us have ridden one of them, if that makes sense. Yeah. But the last 5, just because international coasters are a little more difficult to get placed on here, if that makes sense, I just decided to put them in as well. So we're going to do that. Here is the tier list.
Ooh.
And with that being said, we're going to get started. And actually have to refer back to this thing too for the list. So actually I'm going to start from the back to start off. But the first coaster we have is Trailblazer at Hershey Park, which I think both of us have ridden. I'm not sure. I have ridden it at least.
I've ridden it.
Just compared, what do you think? What tier should we put this in?
I actually really like Trailblazer a lot.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but it's not S tier, obviously. I don't know. Ooh, because I don't want to put it too low, because this is a rather, enjoyable family coaster. I'm not 100% sure. I would have to say maybe C or B.
Ooh. I'm not as big of a fan of Trailblazers, so I myself would do D, but if you're saying B, then we can just counter and put it here for now. We can also change it if people want. Also, actually, chat is also involved with this, so we'll see what they also say.
Oh no, I see a coaster here that I have a very unpopular opinion with, so that's gonna be fun.
Ooh, that should be interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. We're gonna stick it in C for now. That seems like the move. Yeah. All right. So the next coaster we have is, I believe, the Bat at Kings Island. So where do you put this?
I'd say B. This is actually the best arrow I've ever ridden besides Vortex, but that's long gone.
Alrighty, chat. What do you have to say? Let's see. I think the last ones are just. They're also saying B. Wow. All right. Let's go. All right. Bat is going in B. B for Bat. Next ride we have is our first international coaster. This is Speed of Sound. This is a Vekoma boomerang that has a 6 soundtrack and also has, actually does it, I believe it has, either lap bars or vest restraints. I think it has vest restraints. Someone in chat can let me know. There's one that has lap bars,
but Speed of Sound has vests, I believe.
Yeah,
that's
I
the
think
original,
it does.
Ain't it?
No, I don't believe it is. No, it's not the original. I think the original is actually the Six Flags Mexico one, which I did not ride.
Well, I think this is the one that's been at its location the longest, like the longest original location.
It might be. I'm not 100%. Okay, it does have vests, but
either that or it was a first year. Like it was one of the first year ones.
Okay, but I'm leaning. I mean, it's still a boomerang at the end of the day, though. I'm leaning towards C. What do you think? Obviously, we haven't ridden it, but yeah.
I think C, yeah.
All right, we'll put it there. Some people are saying S for soundtrack, but C for ride experience.
Oh man,
Yeah.
is that
The next,
Skyrocket? I see.
yeah, Skyrocket's next one.
Ooh. I'm gonna have to say A. Like I feel like the average consensus is going to be B, but I'm a huge Skyrocket fan. I think some of the airtime moments on that top hat are top tier. If you're sitting in the back row, that drop off the mid course is one of the craziest elements you will ever experience. It honestly feels like a mini version of Skyrush's first drop. It's crazy. The hang time on the third inversion too is flawless. It's a good ride, but the second half after that third inversion really isn't good at all. It really isn't. It's very forceless. A or B, I'd be fine with.
The chat is seemingly going with B, so I think they're saying high B tier, so
Yeah, I'd say that's the best choice.
all right, we'll go with that. Next coaster we have is one of the international ones. It is Rushbanon at Tivoli Gardens, one of the older wooden coasters out there. Side
My
friction,
friend who is in the chat has ridden it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Colin, if you could see, he has ridden this either once or a few times. He's been on a few international trips with his family, so I want to see what he has to say about it. But personally, I'd put it at around C. I really appreciate these historic coasters for how old they are, and this coaster has a very interesting history. I mean, wasn't it vandalized during the Second World War? I believe
there was something. Yeah, that something happened with it.
I mean, that's crazy to think. So I would definitely put it high enough.
I'm leaning towards B. I'm seeing chat actually has it even as high as A. Some people are saying B.
I'd say B would be a very good happy medium here.
Looks like, yeah, I think we're gonna go with that because I think B works for this ride. It looks really fun. So you have that. Next coaster we have is one of the more controversial ones we're gonna have on here. That is Nighthawk at Carowinds. I believe, yes. All right, let me just make sure.
It is Nighthawk,
yes.
I believe.
All right, and have you ridden it?
I have.
Alrighty.
I would say it's B. I know a lot of people would disagree with me. It's one of my friend's least favorite coasters, and I personally just found it to be a slight bit jittery. It is definitely the least out of all of the flying coasters I've ridden, actually. But I also got to ride Firehawk before it closed, and this ride was nothing compared to Firehawk. It had very similar forces, but it had this weird shake to it. It wasn't anything painful, but it's fine. I mean, I'd say either C or D tier when it comes to the general consensus. If I go back to Carowinds, I think I'd ride it again. It's a fun ride, but I wouldn't ride it more than once.
Chad is saying all over the place. B, C, A, ooh. And you said yourself B. I think we'll. Okay, no, okay. I think. Okay, I think we're getting enough C's to where I'm probably.
I think C is a good place to put it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised people didn't say like F. Or maybe people are. Oh yeah, no. Yeah.
All right. The next thing we have is Laugh Track at Hershey Park.
I do like Laugh Track.
This is one of those where, I mean, I love the visuals and everything. It is the least intense spinning coaster I've ever ridden, though. Well, actually, no, it's not, but it's close, actually.
Yeah, say that until you ride Galaxy Spin at Fun Spot Kissimmee. That thing barely spins.
Yeah, actually, I take that back because Undertow is less forceful somehow at Santa Cruz. At least my one probably pretty bad ride on it, but I'm leaning toward D. But what are you thinking?
I say we put Laugh Track a tier above where it should be, just because of that amazing air conditioning. It was such a hot day. No, I would say C or D. One of those two would be the better consensus.
I think people are saying D, so we're gonna go with that. Sorry, Laugh Track. Next coaster we have is...
If the air conditioning was off, though, it would be F.
Yeah, man. Actually true, because the weight is terrible for it. But anyways, Kumba at Busch Gardens, Tampa. Or actually, wait, do I have this?
That's Kraken.
It's
I don't want to sound like one of those, like, oh.
Yep, yes. Yes, it is.
Okay, I would say A. I love Kraken so much. I prefer Kraken to Kumba, actually.
Oh, interesting. All right, it's Kraken, so I that probably screwed up the chat. I hope it didn't, but Kraken is what it is. I also see another A, but I'm not sure if that was before I had said it was Kraken. Um, I'm gonna assume it is, and we'll put it there for now. So we'll do that. Okay. B before the new paint job. All right. Okay. Next coaster we have is actually going to be Space Mountain, but I guess the California version, which I believe only I've ridden, unless you have, or
I have not. No, I've ridden the Florida version, and I love the Florida version. Have you ridden Disney Worlds?
I have not ever been to Florida, so
Ooh, oh my
yeah.
goodness, I absolutely adore Disney's Magic Kingdom Space Mountain. I would used to put it in something like D or C, but I've started to grow a love for that ride. The theming is, oh my goodness, I love Space Mountain so much. The California one, I think is really cool as well. I think I do like Magic Kingdoms more based off what I've seen. I do think Space Mountain California has a weird history though. Like the fact that they had the Red Hot Chili Peppers play that one year. Have you heard about that?
Oh,
The Rockin' Space Mountain.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, funny. I'd say I'd just go with whatever the chat is saying.
For me, I am like about as high on this coaster as anyone. I mean, not quite actually, because some people would probably have it in S, but I would say this is actually one of my personal top 20 coasters. The soundtrack and just it being indoors, like it is amazing. So
if there's any roller coaster that feels like a movie, it's this. Like that's not based on an actual movie.
So the chat is all over the place. I think I see one F, I see B, C.
Like people talk about that Disney magic. You feel that Disney magic. At least in the Magic Kingdom when walking down that tunnel, just with the soundtrack for the Florida ride at least is my favorite coaster soundtrack of all time. I don't think any I'm a Score track can come close. It just it's great. I say B tier is a good place to put it.
We'll put it there. Yeah. I've not ridden Tron. I really want to though. Next coaster we have is I believe another one that I've only ridden. It's Gold Striker at Great America. So
yeah, I've definitely not been to Great America. Well, I've been to Great America, just not that one.
Yeah, not that one. This one is for me it's A tier. We'll see what chat says. I imagine we're probably gonna get some S tiers. I actually rode this its opening year. That thing was, even though I was barely a coaster enthusiast, that was it gave some of the best rides of any coaster I think I've ever had. Then I rode it in 2018 and it was not nearly as good. It was still fun, but it was not nearly as good.
That seems like the general consensus because that's what people said about Thunderhead at Dollywood, but it got an extensive retrack and it feels brand new.
Oh, that's cool. The thing when I rode Gold Striker in 2018, it was in probably pretty terrible conditions. It was, I think early spring, and so it wasn't really all that warm. And I got one midday ride on it, but I think my earlier rides were in the morning, so it was pretty bad conditions. But some people are saying S, so I think we're actually gonna put it there. So,
I'd say it's a good.
I think at its best, it's S.
It's full potential.
But yeah, the next coaster we have, actually, man, this was ordered it randomly orders it. It ordered it where it was all the coasters you had ridden first, and then all the ones now I've done. So that's great. Next one I have is Joker at Six Flags Mexico. Fun fact: I have actually ridden this coaster at the 2 locations it was at. I rode it when it was at Discovery Kingdom, and I rode it when it was at in Mexico.
Is this one of the Tony Hawk ones?
Yes, this is one of those. It's like a pandemonium.
So cool. Like what?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's so funny that Tony Hawk had a roller coaster at a point in time.
Sadly, I think it had been branded a pandemonium by the time I got it at Discovery Kingdom, but at least I had the credit. I do not count it 2 different credits. I think this is probably C just compared to everything else. Maybe a low B, but that's probably me being really biased. It is It is a really good spinning coaster, though. Not my
The
favorite. Sarah Sidewinder has it, but yeah.
the only comparison I can make is Shredder at Nickelodeon Universe, but that's
Oof.
way bigger, and I love Shredder.
Yeah, but pretty different layouts too. And this one I think is also like a unique layout compared to the different Pandemoniums across the chain. I know it's cloned somewhere, but it is not a like Pandemonium clone like in the sense of the other ones. So
Oh, that's cool.
and the queue's really cool too. Actually, yeah, I think I am gonna elevate it to beat it because of that. Yeah, the queue there is amazing. It's like a fun house. It's wacky, but it's so fun. So I think for that alone, we're gonna put it in B, and it kind of evens out with chat. Next
This
thing,
Anaconda.
yep, Dinoconda, S. I have not ridden it, but we, like I said, 5 international coasters. I just decided to put them in here, so I think it's pretty safe S. I'd put X2 in S, so I'd say
That's definitely a very safe S. Yeah.
yeah. Unless the chat thinks otherwise, I doubt it. Yeah, I'm just gonna plug it into S. Next coaster we have is Railblazer at California's Great America. This one's S for me. We'll see
Yeah,
what chat says.
I mean, if Gold Striker's at S, I think that it's only fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll
I
swap
cannot
this.
tell what is this next one?
I'll get there. We'll see what chat thinks. Yeah, I think it's also gonna be an S. Okay, so the next one is actually I made this so long ago, so it kind of hurts me to actually like look at this again. Trying to figure out what each one is.
It looks like American Eagle because I see the supports that look like
I
Raging
think
Bulls, but
yeah, it is. Yeah, it's American.
is it American Eagle?
All right. Have you ridden it?
I have.
All right. What's your thoughts?
American Eagle is personally my second favorite coaster at Six Flags Great America. Fun fact,
Oh,
Six Flags
wow.
Great America, my top two are wooden. It's Goliath and then this. I love American Eagle so much. I actually like American Eagle more than a wooden coaster that's coming up on this list, actually. But I will get to that in a bit. I really do like American Eagle. It's got some great airtime. It's probably the best dueling coaster I've ever ridden. I got like second to last ride of the night on a very busy night, full train. The hype was incredible. And even though people really hate on this ride's helix, I found it pretty smooth. The airtime at the end is ejector. Like when you ride a ride like Racer at Kings Island, you'll get some good like flow ejector. This is straight up ejector, especially if you're sitting in like the third row of a car. I would say this is a good A tier spot.
A tier? Wow. All right. We'll see what the chat says. They seem to agree. So, let's see. Low. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna put it in A. So, there you have it. I had to readjust because the lighting where I'll have to adjust it. I mean, you guys on in the stream can't see, but I'm having to adjust my light because it's now getting dark here. I rely on natural light usually, so I have to change my setup up a little bit.
Okay, I cannot tell what this coaster is. Is this Prowler?
This is actually Mystic Timbers. Yeah.
It's funny because it's one of the ones I've ridden. Have you gotten on this one?
No, not yet.
Oh my goodness. This is a great ride. I love Mystic Timbers.
What tier?
I would personally put it at A. I know a lot of people would put it at S, but I'm a huge fan of this ride. Though I do think it is a bit overrated, I still think it provides a phenomenal experience. I just wouldn't compare it to the two major B&Ms there, like Orion and Diamondback, like some people do. But this ride, nonetheless, is still phenomenal. Top 25 worthy coaster. I do think the general consensus, though, will be S. So I would have no problem with this coaster being S tier.
Yeah,
This thing at night is an S tier coaster. I can tell you that right now.
Oh my goodness. So let's see what people are saying. S, A. I think we're gonna put this in S.
Low S.
Yeah. Man, this light.
Is this next ride what I think it is?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Next ride is Ride to Happiness.
Yes.
So, S tier.
I personally think out of all the rides we've talked about so far, this is the best out of all of them. This ride just looks like this ride, in my opinion, looks top 10 in the world. It
Yeah,
looks
I agree
so
actually.
good. It looks phenomenal. It looks like it would leave me speechless.
Yeah, Ride to Happiness looks absolutely sick.
I'd
Um,
say put it up there with the other boys.
yeah. Um, I for me like Ride to Happiness and I'll just combine Dynacona and Edgenica or like if I made a top 5 most anticipated coasters, those two would be on it.
Oh,
So
definitely.
I like those are like kind of if we had like a separate tier, I have it like probably separate from these three, but if we had like an S plus or something, but
I like how we don't have a single coaster in the F tier right now.
we'll get there.
Is
Actually,
that
let's get it out of the way. Tornado at MND's. This was the Pinfari Looper.
this looks like one of, let's put this at S. No, this ride looks like hot garbage. This ride doesn't
I'm
look
gonna
good at
say
all.
F. Let's see what the chat says about Tornado. Okay, I think I see where this is going.
Yeah.
I guess it's all now it's called Gotham and it's somewhere in
Wait, really?
yes,
It got relocated?
it got relocated to a park in France and it's called Gotham.
Man, why is it always the bad ones that get relocated? Like no volcano, no firehog, no dragon challenge, but this ride definitely getting relocated right here. Okay.
I mean, it's a Pinfari, so some people are saying D, but I think enough people have said F, so we're doing that.
I know
We're going
with
for it.
Scottish enthusiasts, that ride had a huge cult following. They like getting beat up. They're into that stuff. I don't know, man.
I mean, they don't have anything else to compare it to. Is the problem, so it's
That's
pretty
their
sad.
Steve.
Yeah. I think they used to have like a weird like Pinfari invert for a little bit too. Oh
That one
god.
derailed though.
Oh yeah, I think it did.
No one was killed, but it was a pretty major incident.
Yeah.
MND's does not have the best reputation upon parks. Oh, that part amazes me. Is that a next coaster? Let's get there.
All right, which one? We'll do Raging Bull first.
Ooh, I love Raging Bull. I would have to say personally, it's A tier. Have you been on Raging Bull?
No,
Oh,
sadly, I haven't been on any of the next three.
Why did I tell you that? I had to ask you that. I know you haven't been on any B&M hypers.
Yeah,
One of the old B&M hypers. I have only sat in the back row, which I heard is by far the best row on the ride. Though that first drop is really the only phenomenal moment on the ride. I would say either A or B. I do like American Eagle better, but it's definitely the worst out of all the B&M hypers I've ridden. But in the words of Theme Park Crazy, you can't really go wrong with a B&M hyper. So,
yeah. It looks. For me, I have not ridden it.
I would
but
say
I would say
A or
B. And some people are saying A. Some people are even saying
some people are
S.
saying S.
But I think
That
we're
first
gonna go
drop-
to A. Because I think there's enough people where it like kind of goes that way. So we'll do that. Some people are saying like high A, but all right, we'll do that. Next coaster we have is Voyage at Holiday
Yeah, it is.
World. All right, what's your
This
thoughts?
is the ride. I actually like American Eagle more than Voyage. My close enthusiast friends know this, and I know Colin knows what's going on in the chat when I say this, and my longtime fans know this. I rode Voyage on an 85-degree day, morning, afternoon, evening, and it is probably the most disappointing coaster I've ever been on. I must
Wow.
have gone on such a bad day. But let me tell you, I've gotten rides in the front, in the back, in the middle, and I barely got any airtime whatsoever. I mean, it feels like the Beast, I would say. It honestly just feels like a bunch of straight track. I mean, the layout's phenomenal. The ride lasts forever, and I applaud it for that. But I just did not get any airtime. I got like 2 or 3 moments of floater. But other than that, it just was not anything at all. I would have to say B tier, but I know people are going to say S. So I would say A as a compromise, but if everyone else says S and I'm the lone ranger
Yeah, I think
here,
you're gonna get ruled over.
I would say this is the top 30 coaster for me, not my top 25. I would say maybe 28 or 29.
I think I mean, I guess it'll be low S, but it's
I'm not trying to say this ride is bad whatsoever, because it is a great ride, phenomenal ride even. But it's I don't know. I must have gotten a really, really bad day on it.
Did you go this last year?
Yeah.
That would probably I
Though,
heard this year it was kind of not great. So
Raven was phenomenal. I don't know why, but Raven I actually like as my favorite coaster at Holiday World. It's funny because my biggest disappointment on a coaster and my biggest surprise on a coaster was in the same park on the same day. Raven was so good. The Raven's incredible. Okay, let's get to
the last one,
Yeah.
Fire Chaser
Fire Chaser
Express.
Express.
Have not ridden this one.
I've gotten to ride this. This was my first Gerstlauer, actually.
Cool.
I rode this on the same trip as Voyage and the FEC after Kentucky Kingdom. This was a big trip. It was a very big trip. And Fire Chaser Express was just another coaster to ride to get a credit. Both of my friends have ridden it. It was a new credit for me. And I have to say, it was a pretty fun ride. It was a little jerky, but I mean,
interesting.
It was a family coaster. It didn't provide much, but it's not supposed to. I would say when it comes to family coasters and where the other family coasters are put on here, I think B tier would be perfect.
Yeah, I pretty much Chad is going to agree. So we're going to go with that. And that appears to be our tier list. A lot of coasters in S, although I guess that's just how it went. So, but there's our tier list. Some pretty wild, actually, like compared to some of the other ones, this one's definitely one that like viewers later probably who watch after this too. It'll be an interesting one for sure. So no, it's so there's the tier list, and with that being said, it is already 5 or my time, 8 your time. So let's see.
Looks like the sun's starting to go down in your area. It's been down the whole
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. So I'm trying to. I don't want this to go like I'm trying to keep it under 3 hours. I don't know that that's exactly. Actually, I think it's possible. Yeah. Actually, no. I think I formatted this correctly. So I don't know if it'll be under, but it should at least be kind of close. Hopefully. Because I did change some things to kind of compromise. But anyways, like a few days ago, I think. But let's see. The next thing I have is the YouTube shoutouts and also guest the guest shoutouts. And it's not too often that we have a guest on here who recently reached a milestone, but today we do. Cedar Flags, you recently reached 10,000 subs, so congratulations, Nick. On that. If you haven't checked out his channel, I mean, it's highly unlikely because you're watching this stream, but if you haven't,
definitely.
make sure to check him out. A lot of great content. But also, oh wait, if you have anything to say here also, I'll
No, this whole stream I've been talking and
No, you're good. You're
I've talked
good.
way
You're
more
the guest.
I've been talking so much about 10,000 subs on my channel. Long story short, it's freaking crazy. I never thought I'd reach anywhere close to this. Insane.
Yeah, great milestone, and definitely deserve it for sure. Just the amount of content like you're able to pump out is more than I ever could. So, good job with that.
Thank you.
My next channel I have is Theme Park ERT. Recently reached 2,000 subs. They've been doing a great job covering the construction. Like just kind of the updates of like Magic Mountain, the little bits and things that are happening over there, whether it's the Tatsu repaint or the new Wonder Woman, not Golden Lasso, Wonder Woman Flight of Courage. I'm still getting used to that. But they recently reached 2,000 subs, well earned. And make sure to check them out if you haven't already. All these channels, their links are also in the description. Roller Coaster Dream has reached 1,000 subs. Congratulations to them. They provide POVs and off-ride footage of the coasters in Asia, specifically China. So
That's crazy that they're only getting to 1,000.
I mean, the Roller Coaster Dream channel is actually relatively new. I know it is connected with the Mia PA Misc. I probably totally butchered that, but that channel that you guys have probably heard of. But yeah, it's crazy. Very underappreciated channel just because they get a lot of footage that we wouldn't get otherwise. So
Yeah.
definitely worth checking out if you haven't already. And then our next channel we have is Coaster Dash, who also reached 10,000 subscribers, former guest of the stream.
He's such a nice guy. I love his channel so much.
He's got he is one of the best countdown channels. He might be my favorite. And I'm not someone who normally watches like a lot of countdowns, but like that certainly is his thing, and he's very good at it. So
he also has a very high coaster count, like for like someone around the same following as I do. His coaster count's so much bigger than mine. It's like I am not worthy of having a similar count of subscribers with the experience you have.
I mean, it's obviously not all about the credits, but
True.
Yeah. But it is crazy how many credits he has, also considering how old he is. So
yeah.
Congratulations on reaching 10,000 subs if you watch this later. And for anyone who hasn't, make sure to check out Coaster Dash. Great channel. Next channel I have is National Coasters, who also reached 10,000 subs.
That's crazy. Oh my
All
goodness.
3 of you within like 2 weeks, I think. But they have great videos on like more obscure under the radar coasters. And so that is definitely something that I'm interested in. So I love watching his content. So National Coasters, make sure to check him out also if you haven't already.
He's been getting so many views lately. He's been doing pretty good.
Yeah. His videos, I tried to do a series, I think a little bit before he burst onto the scene that was kind of similar. I only ever made one video because the way I did it, it just took super long to do it. So I have a lot of admiration for him being able to do all that research. And even if he has some stuff wrong, I can't blame him because...
Oh, I get stuff wrong like every other video.
Because, I mean, considering how quickly he does this stuff, I'm like, yeah, I could understand why. Because I take way too long with some of my stuff. Like that Steel Dolphin video I made. If you haven't checked it out, make sure to. But that took forever. Yeah. The next channel I have is one I recently came across. Mozzarella is near 1,000 subscribers. I actually saw their video. They have a series where it's what to know before you go, I think, basically. And she did that with Mount Olympus. That was the video I saw. I think it's the only video I've seen from her channel up to this point, but it was really good. Had like logistics and like hotel and like trip planning involved too. It's a really like good video series just based off that video I saw. So really underrated channel for sure that I just recently found.
Yeah, I've actually gotten to talk to her a few times. She is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. She's very supportive of like everyone in the community. She's very nice content creator. She's got a big TikTok too. Like that's the main like thing she does.
Oh really? I didn't even know that.
I think she has like 40,000 TikTok followers.
Wow. Yeah, that is wild. I don't use TikTok much, but that is certainly crazy.
Yeah.
But make sure to check out her channel and her TikTok as well if you haven't already. The last channel I have here is 808 Coaster Life. He is basically the one who really got me into creating the channel. He is a coaster enthusiast from Hawaii, and he's been on these streams multiple times. He is near 2,000 subscribers, has some of the best editing, at least among the smaller coaster YouTubers. I might even say just in general. Of like the coaster YouTubers out there, but he's got some really nice content, and he's a good friend of mine. So if you haven't checked him out, make sure to, for sure. He's got some great content.
Definitely. I have not seen much of his stuff, but I've seen a few of his videos. He has some really good videos.
Yeah, he has some great videos, like for sure. And his, like I said, his editing is like really good. Recently he's been doing some videos more like based off his recent trip, because since he's in Hawaii, he doesn't necessarily get to do coasters all that much. So
Yeah.
yeah, hard life there as a coaster enthusiast. But
He still lives there?
yeah,
Wow.
currently. So yeah, 37 credits though. That's not bad for being in Hawaii.
No, that's
That's
not bad at
actually
all.
it's pretty good. But yeah, so there you go. Those are the YouTube shoutouts. I also have guess the guest winners. This was from a while back, but I did this through Instagram where you could attempt to guess the guest I was having on, based off a clue I gave, and you'd receive a shout out. And here are your winners. We have Professional Idiot, World Class Thrills. That's just their Instagram name. I have all their Instagrams in the description. And actually, former Coaster Time guest, Coaster Marina from Theme Park Media. So make sure to check them out if you want to do that. Description. Their links are in the description. So those are all the shout outs. And with that being said, we'll move on to our second Q&A session. So any questions we didn't get to earlier or any new ones you have, you can let us know, and then we'll go into topics to discuss, and then the final Q&A. So actually, time-wise, this is
It's
doing
not
all
bad at
right.
all.
Yeah. But alrighty. Let's see. Is 123 credits good? I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's pretty. I mean, it's more than me. I have 96, but
I would say that is actually a pretty good coaster count, because before I started basing my theme park trips solely off of my coaster money,
oh,
like my Cedar Flags money and all that, I had a coaster count at around 90. So I think 123 is a really good number for like a coaster count, because most people, like the big people out there, like I was saying Coaster Dash, people like that have major coaster counts. People like Coaster Studios and Theme Park Review especially. But those are the big boys. Like if you look into smaller coaster accounts, the average is probably closer to like 70, 60, 50. So it's probably not that common to have something over 100. That's pretty nice, actually.
and then the other thing is, I think sometimes us enthusiasts maybe put a little too much weight on credit count. Like obviously, yes, we all want to ride a lot of coasters, but it's not like, I don't think it makes you less of a coaster enthusiast
Yeah.
if you've ridden, like, because there are people out there who like they probably just kind of lump parks in for fun, but they don't really like maybe like know that much about coasters. You probably have like over 100 credits or something, and then
My
compared to
count,
others. But yeah,
My count's 159. So
nice.
not as good as like, once again, some of the other guys, but it's good, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'm in a good location.
And now I have to decide on my 100th credit, which it's looking like if I can go to Atlanta this year, which is looking very possible. It more depends on rather the coaster opens or not, but Air Force One is probably going to be my
That's a
100th.
no-brainer right there.
Literally Air Force 100th. So
Ooh,
yeah.
yeah.
So there
Hoping
you
to
go.
get Toro as my 200th next year. That would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be a really good one.
Have
Hopefully
you
it
gotten on Toro?
reopens. Nah, not yet. Basically, the only parks I've been to outside of California are Six Flags Mexico, Hershey Park, Adventure Dome, and Cedar Point. That is it. Weird collection, but
Yeah.
yeah. Let's see. Let's see the questions that came in. Best airtime
one. It's a
moment.
very
Ooh. The Railblazer off-axis hill, I would say. That thing is ridiculous. So,
oh my, that's such a complicated question. I have a few though. The best when it comes to sheer out of control would have to be either Lightning Routes Quad Down or the Trick Track double up on Storm Chaser. That moment is crazy. You're just
yeah,
being
it looks
thrown every
nuts.
which way. One of my personal favorite airtime moments would be Diamondback's Camelback, like the Camelbacks. You're like out of your seat for like 7 good seconds. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
I would say a good underdog when it comes to airtime moments, it would probably be in my top like 5-3, maybe my favorite. Goliath at Great America's Speed Hill is absolutely phenomenal.
Oh,
It is so good. It is powerful. It's sustained. And on a ride that rather has less like low to the ground moments, that moment shines. It's crazy.
yeah. I mean, Goliath, the Speed Hill, that's a new one for me to hear. The other ones, I've definitely, those are like really good ones. So,
Oh yeah.
if like basically Railblazer, yeah, that moment would be my favorite. But if I had to do like a sequence, then I guess like the Steel Vengeance finale would be mine if that counts. But I feel like that's sort of cheating. So,
Well, I said the quad down.
yeah, that's true. So, although my favorite, like, just flat out airtime hill on that ride on Steel Vengeance is actually the off axis hill heading into the structure.
Oh, that's a
So,
good moment. That's
yeah,
a good moment.
that's my favorite one, even more so than
My
the
favorite
Outer
one
Bank
on
everyone raves
Steel
about.
Vengeance is probably the Outer Bank. I love the Outer Bank.
Yeah, it's hard to go wrong with it, but I'm like
Yeah.
one of those weird people who's like has something different. I also think Steel Vengeance might have not been running the best when I went, even though I still have it in my number one. That just
Oh, it's
shows how
such
good
a
it
hit or
is.
miss ride. I mean,
Yeah,
there have been times I've ridden it where it wouldn't even be a top 5 worthy coaster if that was the only ride I've ever gotten. Front row in the evening though is the best experience you can get on that ride. It is hauling to an extent that I can't even like explain. It's crazy.
yeah. The night rides are incredible.
Oh, and the
So
night rides are phenomenal as well.
yeah. That pretty much that elevated it for me. Let's see. What other questions we got? Uh, anything that's come up? I see thoughts on Apollo's Chariot. I have not ridden it. It looks okay, I guess. I'm not
I
really
haven't
that
either.
excited to do it, to be honest. So,
I've heard mixed things.
eh. It's hard for me to get excited about like V&M Hypers when I haven't done one. So
Yeah,
that's part of it.
I've also
Because
heard it's one of the lower tier ones.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure that B&M Hypers are gonna be my type of ride, as crazy as that sounds, but we'll see. Because I've done all the weird hypers first. So I think, is that it for now? If that's so, then I'll move on to the next thing. I know it's getting late for some people, especially like if we had any viewers from Europe. Rip.
We did have a viewer from London earlier. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that would be pretty rough. I do have a decent amount of viewers from Europe on most streams, but that would be pretty rough tonight.
Yeah.
Um, but let's see what else. Okay, I think we're gonna move on then to our next thing. If you have any other questions, we'll move on. We'll answer them in the final Q&A. But next, we're gonna go into topics to discuss. And this first one is specifically for you, Nick.
Sweet. I'm excited.
Basically, like, you've done YouTube for over 5 years, so what are some ways that you think you've just improved over the years, and what are some tips you'd maybe give for someone maybe just starting?
Okay, I think that's a really good question. I don't know. I would have to say find something unique, even if it's slightly unique. Because, like, I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm going to be as blunt as possible. I know a lot of people that are, like, trying to be the next Coaster Studios or next this,
Yeah,
next that. And, like, I definitely took a lot of inspiration from older Taylor videos. But I would have to say stand out in a way that other people don't. The video that made me explode, like the video that made me go from a small YouTuber with less than 200 subscribers to the YouTuber I am today, is the 50 states video. To this day, that is still my most viewed video by far. I think it has like 5 times the amount as views the other, like the second best video
wow.
does. It has well over 200,000 views, and I look up topics. Like I think of an idea, and the first thing I do is I look up to see if someone's done it before. And I watch the video, I see if people did it any differently than I imagined. And if not, then I either scrap that idea or I try to figure out what I could do differently. And some of the funny thing is about being on YouTube, I have put my heart and soul into some videos, and they barely get any views whatsoever. And then I'll just
Yep,
like,
I know
oh,
the feeling.
this idea looks kind of cool, and I'll do it, and it will get like so many views. It's crazy.
I've been there.
YouTube's definitely a hit or miss. It really is. Like you can't start a YouTube channel and guarantee a bunch of success. Like I said, I've been doing it for 5 years, and I'm only at like 10,000 subs compared to someone like Coaster Dash started it like 2 years into my channel, and he has as many subs as I do. So I would have to say quality is a good thing. If you start off with good quality, then you're going to be golden. That stage from like 2016 to 2019, not really that good. But 2020 is when I really started focusing on ideas, and that's when I really blew up. So I would say try to be unique, try not to be like everyone else, and even though you're inspiring off of other people, try to be your own person. I'd say that's the best advice.
That's really good, actually. Appreciate that. You going into that. So,
Yeah.
I think I have like I think some people have asked me in the past like some things. Basically, I would pretty much agree with what you said. My other thing would be make videos that you're actually interested in doing. Because
Yes.
if you're just doing something just for
100%.
like if you're doing something for views, trust me, I've been there. It's not fun if that like the point is just like, oh, I want to grow the channel but I don't really enjoy what I'm doing.
Oh, that's definitely a very important point. Very important.
Because I've said this before, but the Six Flags predictions video I made like what in 2019 or whatever, that is the video that did the most for me. And a lot of people were like, "Oh, do all these other chains," and I'm like, and I did like Cedar Fair, but I'm like, okay, I cannot do Merlin, I cannot do like Palace. Like, come on, I mean, like this is getting a little crazy.
Yeah,
We already know these
yeah.
parks don't get not all of these parks get a yearly edition anyways, so like come on, let's cool it a bit. And so yeah, basically, and that's why I'm doing this. I really enjoy doing Coaster Time. The new interview series I'm doing, I really enjoy doing that, even though I've only done one. It was really cool to do that. So definitely do things that you and like enjoy doing and also like want to see, because that's also inspired me to do the things I've done. So
Oh, definitely.
that's
Definitely.
what I'd add to that. But no, really good answer there. The next thing we'll go into is topics to discuss. And this is based
Ooh.
off one of the videos you made. So if you haven't watched Cedar Flag's top 10 forgotten coaster concepts, I would highly recommend it. It's a really cool video. Theme Park Crazy even shouted it out.
That
So
was
that's awesome.
crazy.
Yeah.
The thing is, someone I didn't even know until like later that night. I worked that day, and I get back home and I look at my phone and I have a bunch of comments being like, "Did you hear about Theme Park Crazy? He shouted you out." And I look at it and I'm like, "Oh my goodness! I thought it was fake. I did not believe it whatsoever. That was crazy."
Yeah, he's a really nice guy, so that's awesome. And also another previous guest of the stream, but there you have it. But yeah, out of those 10 concepts, which one would you ride if you could, but if you could only ride one of them?
I would say the Mauer spinner, the Mauer X car spinner.
Oh, all
Like I
right.
couldn't imagine. That would be crazy. Like I think that would be very similar to how Mach is doing their spinners now, like the extreme spinners. But on a Mauer perspective, I would have loved to seen one of those. But oh well.
There was that one 4D coaster concept where they made even a prototype for it. It was like by some random manufacturer.
Oh,
That's
that was
the one I
crazy.
would pick. I don't know if it would be great or horrible, but I would just have to try it because I X2 is like my number 2 coaster, so it's
Definitely.
definitely up there for me if I had to pick one. Um, but yeah. And our last topic to discuss is actually going to be a countdown.
I'm
Top
excited for
10
this one.
top 10 new for 2021 coasters. So basically we're going to switch off. I'll start it off just so you kind of get the gist of it. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's a countdown, so
Yeah.
it's not that hard. So,
I'm actually going to go on RCDB and look at the 2021 coasters. If that's okay with
alrighty.
you. Definitely want to see, like, get a little bit of an inspiration.
Oh
Have I
yeah, no,
ridden
go
any
for
new
it.
for 2021 coasters, actually? No,
Have you
I've
done
ridden.
have you done Velocicoasters?
I haven't. I've ridden
Okay.
one and I completely forget what it is.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Jersey Devil?
No, it was smaller.
Oh, is it the Columbus Zoo one?
No, I didn't even ride that one. This has been a very interesting year for roller coasters just because of COVID and all that.
Yeah,
It's really,
it wasn't the best year. Like it was still pretty good, but like it wasn't like what maybe some people thought it would be. But I guess I'll start off the list if that's okay.
do it, of
Um,
course.
Yours can be kind of out of order too at this point, but my number 10, this is like just kind of like based off what I would ride, but also like kind of what I think is the best kind of combination of two. My number 10 is Big Dipper at Luna Park Sydney, literally
Ooh,
opening
yeah.
like at the last second, but yes, it counts. It just looks really fun. It doesn't look anything that crazy, but the first few inversions do look really sick. And it just looks like a fun ride. I don't think it is anywhere probably close to what the RMC Raptors are, but I don't think it's trying to be. It's kind of its own thing. So I'm curious to hopefully one day try Intamin's take on the single rail, whether it's with this coaster or something they build in the future.
It
But
looks great.
yeah. So what do you got?
For my number 10, or just like,
If you have like, I mean, you can just go with one you like if that's what you want to go with.
I really don't have a top 10. I apologize.
You're
I really
good.
do.
But
I would just mainly say my thoughts on it. I mean, I love this ride. This ride looks incredible.
already, I think we'll go with that. We'll go with mine. You can give your thoughts on it, and then we can kind of, if there's any ones that you have, we can like that I didn't mention. We can circle back on it. Does that work? Or
Oh yeah, 100%.
all right, cool. So the next coaster I have, and also I just want to mention I left clones except for specific ones, which I'll get into that, but and relocations off of this. But Steel Taipan at Dream World, technically it sort of is a clone, but it does have the multi-launch and obviously the spinning seats, so I felt that made it different enough. But this coaster, just for that back seat alone, had to be on here. That is probably like a really crazy experience. And the Blue Fire clones already looked really solid rides, but that spinning back seat has got to be wild. So
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely. This ride looks great. I love the look of the Blue Fire clones. I don't think they would ride as well as some rides like in like Copperhead Strike or Helix, but I think that the spinning train will add a lot more personality to it. Definitely.
yeah. And if this is good, I can't even imagine like Icon with the
Oh
spinning
my
cars.
goodness.
That's gonna be sick.
I'm still trying to like fathom that. It's crazy. By the way, I
Yeah.
did find the 2021 coaster I did ride.
Oh, what was it?
Fun in the Sun at Funplex in Myrtle Beach.
Oh, is that the one that circles around the
That's
entire
the
park? The one that
oh,
literally
that
is the
park is
parameter
oh,
of
that park is
the
awesome. I love it. It's so cool.
That's cool, actually.
It's crazy. I'm guessing it's not on the list though, is it?
It's not on mine.
Oh. No, man, that ride is insane. That I just want to say something about it real quick. This park is like small. It is so
Yeah,
small.
it's tiny.
It's less of an amusement park and more of a sports bar with rides on it. It's crazy. It's awesome.
Alrighty. Fun in the Sun. I'll put that in just for the what is it?
Honorable mentions.
Well, what was it? I had it originally formatted with like this. I'll just pull it up. So there we go.
Oh man. I will actually name some coasters as we go on though.
All right, that sounds good.
Hmm
The next coaster I have is, and this is controversial that I am tied, but they're very similar, so I figured why not. Abyssus at Energylandia and Dragon in the Jungle at Dragon Valley. I wasn't really gonna pick one over the other, so this coaster.
This is a little low.
The problem is, based off what I've heard, it sort of is more like it's not like family. It's not a family coaster, but it's kind of like a step up coaster where it's like it's not really all that intense, and some of the moments don't quite deliver, supposedly, from what I've heard. But I mean, it still looks really fun. Yeah, I understand I have this kind of low, but yeah.
Oh well.
Your thoughts on this ride?
I think this ride looks incredible. I really do. I mean, I have heard that some of the reviews have not been as good. I've heard actually people say that Formula is the best Vekoma launch at Energylandia.
Which blows me away.
Yeah, it's crazy. I still think that this ride really does look that good. I cannot see these rides not being good. It might be a first year thing. I'm not sure. We'll just have to wait.
Yeah, maybe. The next coaster I have is Light of Revenge at Happy Valley Nanjing. This is, of course, the Intamin Blitz that's basically modernized Cheetah Hunt. Especially with like the theming and also how they improved upon Cheetah Hunt's layout. I think this looks like a really fun ride. And like a high quality one. Probably one that's probably underrated just because a lot of people kind of trashed on it originally because they thought it was a Cheetah Hunt clone, but it's not.
By the way, I'll make a top 5 for you for this.
All right, cool. All right, sounds good.
Why not?
And then do you have any
what do I have to say about
Light Revenge? Yeah.
Most of the stuff we talked about earlier. I think this ride looks incredible. I really think that this is everything Cheetah Hunt is, but even better.
Yeah. Actually, so. I'll plug. I mean, I don't have the link, but Coasters World did an interview with Intamin at, I believe it was this year's IAPA in Europe. And really? They actually go into the design. It basically, they basically say, we looked at Cheetah Hunt and said, what could we do better? That's literally what they said.
That's crazy.
So for anyone who wants to watch that interview, I highly recommend it. You can probably just look up Intamin IAPA interview 2021 and it'll come up. But they go into that. It's really cool.
Yeah.
The next coaster I have is Jersey Devil Coaster at Six Flags Great Adventure, which also could be low. I've heard really mixed things on this, so I don't know what to expect when it comes to Magic Mountain, basically. But
I have not heard a lot of good things about this ride at all. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like it's mainly just because of all the complaints, but I've heard that this ride was one of the biggest disappointments.
Yeah. The only thing I will say is they had a lot of issues getting the right wheels. The mid-course, I think, had some stuff going on. Like, the coaster had a pretty weird first year where it probably never really broke in how it should have. Because definitely. Of all that's going on. So I do think that it's probably, like, I think next year it'll probably be more liked just because it'll probably have a more normal cycle than what it did this year. It was very weird what happened.
Yeah.
But it still looks like a fun ride if nothing else. But it's certainly not, I guess, as good based off what I've heard from other people as I was hoping for. But it still looks fun.
Good news is next 5 coasters I have ranked.
Awesome. Yeah. All right, so then actually you go with your number 5.
Oh, well, funny enough, my number 5 is Jersey Devil.
There you go.
Yeah, everything we just said about it. Jersey Devil really does look like an incredible ride. I feel like it gets a little bit of hate. Even if it is the worst RMC or one of the worst RMCs, it still looks like a great ride. And I really don't feel like it should get the hate it gets. But if it's as weak as people say, then this might not even be top 5. I'm riding this next year, so I'll see, but I'm not sure. It's a weird coaster because like people raved over the faster prototype models, and I'm sure that you could advocate for that. But this ride really has not gotten the hype I'm sure it wanted to get.
Yeah, that's for sure. And then it's even worse. Like I question how good this coaster really did for the park because of how much it was closed on top of that, just at
Yeah.
different points for various reasons.
Yeah.
So pretty rough, just all around. But I guess I'll move on to my number 5. My number 5 is actually Wooden Dragons roller coaster at Jinan. I probably totally butchered that. Sunac Land. This is the Gravity Group wooden coaster that is technically kind of on the small side. I think it's only like 80 feet tall or something like that. But if you look at the layout, it looks incredible. So many moments of
this ride looks
airtime
so
and
good. This ride looks phenomenal.
good laterals. It looks fantastic. The pacing looks top notch too. They tried with theming a little bit, but with the fishbone thing, which I guess is a cool effect. Yeah, it looks really fun.
Oh, definitely.
What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Abyssus.
Alrighty. That makes things easy enough.
I really like the look of Abyssus. I think this thing running at full potential, as someone who has not ridden it, and as someone who has no idea of how one of these rides would feel like, just by basing it off the looks, because I'm sure you were basing most of these off of the looks.
Yeah.
It looks so good. I think this could have potential for being one of the best if it does run at its complete and full potential. But I could definitely see how you ranked it so low compared to other people that have reviewed this thing. Because despite this ride looking world class, I've heard some weird things about this ride. I think this could easily be a contender for the 3rd best at the park, but I seem to be in the minority there.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. I don't know that you're in the minority. I know there are a decent amount of people who say Formula is better, but I don't know that everyone thinks that. Because that kind of blows me away. And that's not to like slight on like that's not a slight to Formula, but I mean,
No.
Yeah. My number 4 is actually Fighter Jet at the Oriental Heritage Parks. Basically the Vekoma Top Gun. There's 2 of them that opened this year. They're basically the same. So basically this is, the pacing looks really good. The inversions look really snappy, and even with the mid-course, it doesn't actually look that bad. Some of the airtime moments look just incredible. That first element looks just crazy.
That's actually where I would disagree with you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've seen these. Is this the one that launches off of like the aircraft carrier?
Yeah, basically. Well, the first element didn't like quite deliver as much, but I still think it looked good.
I don't know. The pacing looks a little off, but that could just be me.
I thought it looked good. I think, I mean, I don't think it was quite the animation. I think the animation was like just like pretty ridiculous, but
yeah,
I thought it looked pretty good. And I think people who've ridden it the very few have said it's good, but
we need one of these to come to the US. Stat.
Yeah. And I think we'll be getting Vekoma coasters in the future here, just based off some of the IAPA interviews I've seen. So something to look forward to, hopefully. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Conda.
Yep. All right. We have the same one.
Do we really? Oh,
Yeah.
we're probably going to have the same top 2 in number.
Yeah. Well, the order might be different.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure of that, but we'll just, yeah. Okay. What do you have to say on this?
Okay. Conda, I have to admit, it doesn't look as good as I originally imagined, but it still looks phenomenal. This thing looks great. I mean, looking at the Amusement Insider animation, for a moment, I'm like, that's going to be better than Steel Vengeance. That's going to be the best ride in the world. Well, looking at the ride actually run in person, it still looks like a phenomenal ride, and a ride that I want to go to so bad in the future. And I think it could be top 10 in the world, maybe top 15. But I do have to say myself, it was a little disappointing. I don't want to say that, because that's like a little negative. But talking about the ride itself, the airtime looks like it slaps, like top notch the whole ride. It's very unique, and I think this is a perfect fit for this park. It is definitely the highlight coaster of the Walibi parks, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, this coaster, as you said, I think it looks really good. It just was a bit disappointing. But another one that also, kind of like Jersey Devil, had a weird cycle. because it wasn't open that long before the park got flooded, and it didn't
Yeah,
open for literally months afterwards.
that was
So,
crazy. Yeah.
so I think this is another one that I think next year when more people write it, the general opinion will probably rise, I would think.
I've never seen the ride from this angle. This is an interesting picture. I didn't know there was a neighborhood like right behind the park.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's crazy. What's your number two?
Velocicoaster.
Yep, we have the same.
Oh man.
Oh well, I mean, hey, it is what it is.
And I'm sure we have the same number one.
Yeah, obviously.
Okay. You want to talk about it? You want me to?
I'll start it off. I have not looked into the queue. I have tried to avoid it as much as possible, so that did not really factor into this. But I mean, the layout looks insane, and I'm sure the theme is great in the queue too. But the layout just looks insane. The variety of the elements, and the top hat looks insane. The Mosasaurus roll, just based off of what I've heard and even how it looks, that thing looks like maybe one of the best elements in the world, just on any coaster. And just with how long this ride is, this coaster is just like absolutely incredible. So I think a lot of people have covered it. So there's not a whole lot I can say, especially because I haven't ridden it, but it looks insane.
No, this ride definitely. This ride looks like it could be the best coaster on the planet, honestly. If it runs as good as I can imagine, I think it might be the most well-rounded coaster on the planet, though. Because
Yeah.
like phenomenal layout, phenomenal airtime, great forces like positives and laterals. It's got launches, it's got variety in its elements, and on top of that, you can say all of that for the other Intamin Blitz coasters, but this has theming out the wazoo. This coaster has everything you could possibly want in a coaster. And I think that is awesome. If this thing had like spinning trains or something, I think it would without a doubt be the best coaster in the world.
I don't know if that could be worked into that, but
No, this ride's first half looks great. I think the first half definitely shines on the theming, but the second half is really the highlight of this ride. I do think that Mosasaurus roll looks a little overrated. I don't think it's anywhere near the best element on the ride. I think that goes for either the top hat or the wave turn. But that spaghetti bowl section at the end, oh my goodness, that looks like the chef's kiss. That looks like that looks like where the ride really shines. I was very surprised. This is like the opposite of Conda for me. This, by the renderings, didn't look incredible. But once this ride opened up, it really showed its true colors. And I think this ride it just looks incredible. I have so many friends that have ridden it, and they say it's just flawless.
yeah. The Mosasaurus roll, I hear it's something you have to ride to understand, and I've heard like similar things from different people, so that's like so that's my thing there. But this coaster, I was like, when the renderings came out, I was like on board. Then I was kind of like, maybe not, maybe it's not gonna be like as good as people are hyping it up to be. Then when it opened, it's like, okay, or like was testing toward the later stages, it's like, okay, this thing's a real deal. So
It's so good
yeah.
that it seems like all enthusiasts have really forgotten about the morning they went through when Dragon Challenge was removed.
Yeah.
I remember when oh my goodness, there was an outcry, and now everyone's just forgotten about that because of the quality of the two Intamin multi-launches they've come out with.
Yeah.
I think it's a very genius approach. Like they have a Intamin multi-launch for families that's way more complex, but definitely has more of the theming. And then you have one for the thrill seekers. So I think it's great.
Yeah, I think they went about as well as you could have replacing Dragon Challenge. So
like one more thing is Universal loves to incorporate theming. And something I like about Universal is they will make sure that the coaster makes you feel like you're within the experience. And I feel like the most flexible coaster model, like if you want, hey, I want this experience, I think the Intamin Blitz is the way to go.
yeah,
And Hagrid's is kind of a family version of that. And then Velocicoaster is just full on Blitz. So I feel like this is definitely the best option they could have came out with. I think this is a huge jump from the rest of the list. Truly, this ride just looks so good.
yeah. I'd say the top two are like in a tier of their own, just compared
Yeah.
to the rest. But with that being said, we already know what number one is.
Yeah, Little Devil at Great Adventure. I mean, it definitely
Yeah.
looks like a very revolutionary coaster. No, definitely Ride to Happiness. This ride, you want to talk about it first, or you want me to?
You go. You go into it.
Okay. Yeah, Ride to Happiness. I know many people will put Velocicoaster over this, and I can see why. But I truly think I knew when they first came out with the prototype for the Mach Extreme Spinner, I'm like, they're going to make something great out of this model. And this coaster right here just looks, I don't even know. Like, looking at the POVs, it runs phenomenally. And you are spinning the whole time. I mean, this thing looks so disorienting. Depending on what ride you get, it looks like a different experience every time. It looks like it has positives and negatives, hang time, and of course with those spinning cars. I personally think this could be one of the best ride layouts on the planet. I mean, it has everything you want in a coaster. The theming looks great. The setting over the water looks phenomenal. This ride just looks like one of the perfect coasters on the planet.
I seriously underestimated this ride when it was like first revealed. I was just kind of like, like I thought it looked good, but I'm just like, this is gonna be a kind of weird ride. I'm not sure how exactly it's gonna be when it opens. And yeah, when I saw the POVs and the first reviews, I'm like, oh, this thing is really something special. It also
Like,
has an onboard soundtrack, which is insane.
This
I have not
ride,
listened to it, but it is ridiculous.
in my personal opinion, this is one of the few rides on the planet I could see beating Steel Vengeance. Like, this ride just looks so good. It's just, oh, I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah, no, it looks phenomenal. I could honestly see this as like definitely like this. I don't know. This is definitely one of those coasters that like if someone asked me what coasters have I not ridden, do I think could be like my all-time favorite, this would definitely be on there. There's not too many, but this is certainly one of them.
Oh, yeah.
So
I
it
think
looks
they
insane.
took everything about Time Traveler, which is already looking like a great coaster. It's on my bucket list. It looks phenomenal. This looks way better than even that, and that looks phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, it is insane what they have done, and I really hope they get another crack in in North America at
I
a
know.
Extreme Spinner.
I
I
know
know
Cedar Point's been rumored a
that
little
would
bit.
be incredible if they were actually to go through with it. I can't even imagine. That
Oh,
would be
man.
insane.
That would be a good rival to Steel Vengeance.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you had told me that before this ride had opened, I would have been like, maybe there's better options. Like, or before this was announced, just looking at Time Traveler. But now with this open, it's like, oh, they need to get one of these.
Oh
So,
my! Like, this is a perfect window. Like, you want a spinning coaster? People have been wanting a spinning coaster. This would be.
oh yeah,
I'd probably
would be
cry.
insane.
This ride, it looks so good.
This is I thought for the longest time the best possible thing they could get, and this is extremely unlikely, would be like an Edgenica clone, at least for me.
Oh,
But
and that would be great too. I think this would be better though.
but this might be better, which is saying a lot. So yeah, that's gonna wrap up the list, unless you have anything else to say before, or
No, I really don't. I completely forgot about that Gravity Group launch. Or not launch. Why did I say launch? That wooden coaster.
yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah. Definitely.
It opened pretty early in the year, so, and it's in China, which not a lot of people, well, actually, I don't think really almost any foreigners went, so, yeah,
Yeah.
so that's obviously pretty rough, for
Especially with
that,
this
but
whole
yeah.
pandemic and all that. It's like no,
Yeah.
like yeah, with
No,
borders
probably
and
literally
stuff.
no foreigners went there. So, or maybe I don't know how the border situation is over there, but in terms of what is allowed and what isn't in the current situation. But yeah,
Oh,
it's
definitely.
pretty interesting. So that's gonna bring us to the end of the stream Q&A. Actually, I will, since I didn't go over this earlier, I'll just give the channel announcements here. I'll pull up the slide for that. But you can still ask your questions. Any last questions you had that we didn't get to, or any new ones you have,
I would say ask that
Give them
now.
now.
Do the announcements and then answer them when that's done with.
Yeah, so I'm gonna do the announcements first, I think, because I think it'll take a little bit for the questions to come in because there's a little bit of a delay. So I think that's gonna be the plan there. But anyways, for channel announcements, we have let's see. I had a banner for this, but actually I don't need a banner. Basically, if you haven't seen my first ever Coaster Hour interview, I did one with Janine from Adventureland Long Island. She goes into the park's history. We also talk about Fireball, which is her new rollerball coaster they are getting next year. And there's some information about that coaster and how it came to be that isn't really anywhere else. It's actually really cool. So if you haven't checked out that interview, make sure to. I'm pretty happy with how it came out for the first one. And I'm actually going to be doing an interview with Tyler Mullins from Skyline Attractions, who has also been involved with many GCI projects, including the Titan track. So we're going to be talking about that upcoming. And if you have any questions for that interview, because I am taking viewer questions, I have a community post on YouTube that you can find, or you can DM me on Instagram for that. But that is coming pretty soon. Very exciting. We'll also be talking about the Piscetti Bowl Coaster and their thrilling coaster concepts. So that's that. And then also Coaster Time episode 28, 2,000 subscriber special. Very late, but it's coming. The date isn't final, but the plan is it's going to be with viewer call-ins like I did with the IAPA streams. And I'll decide the date in the next probably few days. It'll either be the 8th or the 9th. 8th would be a Friday. No, wait, the 8th would be a Saturday, so I think 7th or 8th. It would either be the Friday or Saturday of that week. So that's the plan there. And that is all the announcements. So that's all I have to say beforehand. And let's get to the questions.
Of course.
Why didn't we do Guess the Coaster? I had to cut that out because I was worried about time. It'll be in the next stream. That's the gate. I cut that out like before the stream because I was looking at the stuff. I'm like, there's no way we're gonna get through all this. So
yeah,
that was something that had to be cut when I looked at this a few days ago. Let's see. Thoughts on Gale Force? I haven't written it. You are going to be writing it soon because it is, or at least I assume because you're hitting up the New Jersey parks. So, Gale Force. But let's see. What are your thoughts on it?
Gale Force. I will be writing that next year. Actually,
Yeah.
I've been saying so much about this road trip. I haven't even announced or told my family about.
Yeah.
But people in the, I'm actually going with someone that was in the chat earlier. I'm so excited about that. By the way, Gale Force though, I'm excited for that. I've heard so many mixed things about it. I remember when it first opened up, and it sucked. I heard. But apparently it's gotten so much better and it's like smooth and has great transitions. And I'm very excited for it. I definitely cannot wait for that.
Yeah. It looks super fun. I think it looks like a really underrated ride.
Yeah.
Just because one, it had that like weird opening, which was like where it opened and it was like super rattly, and then they had to completely retrack it. As you mentioned, so
yeah.
that was wild. But Gale Force, that first moment where it dives, the airtime on that's got to be pretty sick. So
Oh my goodness,
that
yeah.
would be like my most anticipated moment on the ride. Let's see, top five coasters in Florida. I'm not gonna go into it like too much in terms of specifics, but I'll just kind of rattle them off. Iron Gwazi 1 still.
Yeah.
Velocicoaster 2.
2.
And then it Mako 3, Mindblower 4, and then Guardians Cosmic Rewind at 5, which is gonna be a bit weird, but yeah, that's my top 5.
I would say my top 5 would be number 1, actually Velocicoaster. I think Velocicoaster is still my number 1. Number 2, Iron Gwazi. Number 3, out of my personal experience, Cheetah Hunt. I love Cheetah Hunt. Number 4 would be Mako, and number 5 would be Montu.
All right, yeah, Montu is Definitely one of those, and like one of those that I would say like that could have been on my thing. My 5 were anticipated, so I don't know if that'll be my real 5.
Yeah.
Probably not.
I've
Probably
gotten to
not.
ride 3 of the 5 and see the other 2, so it's cool to think about that. I actually got to see VC test.
Oh, that's
Which was
fun.
cool. Yeah.
Well, actually, not fun because you can't ride it.
Funny enough, it was from the station of White Lightning.
Oh wow!
You could see
Yeah,
Velocicoaster from it.
right there. Yeah, you're right
and
there.
every once in a while, I'd see it go over the top hat. It's cool that I've seen it. I've not ridden it, but I've seen it.
Hopefully soon then.
Yeah, definitely. That ride looks so good.
Let's see. Any bucket list coasters in Europe? Well, Ride to Happiness, obviously.
And that one looks okay. I mean, it doesn't look too good.
Yeah, nah, you're right.
Expedition G-Force, definitely. That ride looks so good. It doesn't look as good as like Superman the Ride in America, but it still looks so good. I would say there's some great coasters. What's the ride I'm thinking of? I'm having like a brain fart right now.
Zadra is
No,
probably
not
not
the one at
Zadra.
Linnamaki.
Taiga.
Taiga.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got Taiga.
That one looks sick.
Yeah, that one looks so good. Let Coaster, that ride looks phenomenal. Let Coaster looks so good. Untamed at Walibi, that ride looks phenomenal. Goliath at the same park looks great. I have a soft spot for Oblivion. Like I know that ride doesn't look phenomenal, but like the theming, I just love the concept of the theming. Like you literally dive into Oblivion. It's so cool. Of course, Smiler. There's so many. What about you?
I think if I had to limit mine to 5 and keep in mind this is off the top of my head, 1 would be Ride to Happiness, 2 would be Zadra, 3 would probably be the Park Asterisk Blitz that we haven't.
Yeah, if we're
two
counting
tattoos.
That's number 1 for me. That ride looks so good.
That would be my probably 3. My 4 would be.
What about
shoot.
Fly? Or
Oh, Fly would be close. Fly is, it's a hit or miss. Like some people really love it, others don't. So that's like kind of my one hang up. I think I'd love it, but I'm not sure.
I would say my number 1 park in Europe is easily Phantasialand. That ride looks so good.
Yeah, I think Phantasialand would be my 1. My 4 would be Phoenix at Faroop Summerland if I included that. That's the Vekoma Wildcat. And then my 5 would probably be Let Coaster. Yeah, I think that'd be about right. I mean, kind of redundant with those 2, but I imagine Let Coaster is going to be the much more intense of the 2.
Yeah.
Let's see. Outlaw Run or Goliath at Six Flags Great America. I haven't done either, but I'd probably go with Outlaw Run, but
I would personally say, ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one because I've gotten to ride one of them. Outlaw Run is the better setting, 100%. I think they have very similar layouts. The setting really takes Outlaw Run to a higher spot. I've heard it's a bit rough. Goliath I found to be butter smooth. So that's a tough. I would have to say if Outlaw Run was smoother than that, I would have to say.
it's all right. They'll probably RMC it within like 3 to 4 years anyways.
They'll give it the lightning rod treatment.
Exactly.
I heard that lightning rod was running pretty ugly beforehand. I only rode it post treatment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see. What other questions? Oh, but that was sort of covered in the Europe question. Bucket list coasters in the UK. Smiler, Icon. Actually, Icon would be 1 with the spinning car.
Yeah, same with me with the spinning car.
Smiler, Nemesis, just because it's so iconic.
I want to ride Speed at Oakwood. That ride looks so.
Oh, the Eurofighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That airtime moment, like after the drop, that looks crazy.
I'd have to
I don't know
look
if
at
you've
that
seen
again.
it. Yeah, it looks so good.
I know what you're talking about, but
Yeah,
I just don't remember what it looks like exactly. Canopy Coaster in the chat, welcome.
Canopy Coaster.
Yeah.
Huge fan of you, by the way. I love his stuff. He's so good.
Best coaster reviews, at least I think.
Especially
see.
his water park stuff. I love his water park stuff.
Yeah, not too many other people go into that. It's not my thing, but I appreciate that he actually goes into like water park reviews and stuff.
I'm actually a huge water park fan.
Oh wow. We definitely differentiate that way.
I chose Adventure Island at Busch Gardens over SeaWorld Orlando one day because
Oh my.
I've already been to SeaWorld Orlando, and I was like,
Alright.
hey, I'll go to Adventure Island.
Nice. Let's see. Favorite ride that isn't a coaster? That's a good question. What's yours?
Favorite ride that isn't a coaster? That's a really good one actually. I'm trying to think. I really am. You go first. I'm really trying to figure out what my.
Mine's complicated because it's two of them, because I know one people probably wouldn't consider counting. My number one ride of all time, period, is actually the Universal Studios Hollywood, their studio tour.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like an hour long and it has multiple different points, and it's also like a studio tour, but it does have ride portions, so
Yeah.
it's a weird one, but I would say I enjoy it the most out of anything. But if I had to do like a legitimate ride, Indiana Jones would be my number one non coaster. So
Wait, could water slides count on this?
sure, I would assume.
Okay, then I would have to say either Vanish Point at Adventure Island or Thrill-A-Gas-Car at DreamWorks.
Oh,
Huge
nice.
drop slide guy. Huge drop slide guy.
Have you done the water coasters at Holiday World or no?
No, I'm actually not a big water coaster fan.
All right, that's fair. I haven't even done a drop slide where like the platform.
Oh, they're awesome. I love them.
We have one at my local park that's like less than 20 minutes away from me. It opened a few years ago, and I just haven't had the desire to go.
Yeah.
I want to do it because it's like been something that's been on my bucket list, but yeah. Let's see. I saw Canopy Coaster, I think, asked best water park. You go first.
I have two answers.
All right.
When it comes to water park itself, easily Adventure Island. I love the aesthetic of it. It's an incredible environment. It's got a beach, like an artificial beach.
That's cool.
It has some great theming, great tropical theming, great water slides there. Everything just pops perfectly, and they're always trying to improve. They also have a lot more variety. Like there's a cliff jump there. Like what? That's crazy.
Oh, nice.
It's so cool. But I would have to say, when it comes to my favorite, when it comes to sentimental value, Kalahari Sandusky. The theming is great there. It's a whole resort. Like, it's not even just the water park. So, like, when you leave the water park, this is why I like it more than DreamWorks. Because you've seen DreamWorks, right? The major one in the American Dream Mall.
Yeah, I've seen.
Yeah, Kalahari just hits something a little different with me. Like, outside of the water park, you go back into the mall. But with Kalahari, you have a whole hotel, you have a resort, you have restaurants and shops and all that stuff. So I would have to say there. Great memories there as well.
So for me, for water parks, I've basically only been to 3. So, and 2 of them are my local water parks. So
Fair.
The ones I've been to are Island Water Park here in Fresno, California.
Nice.
Wild Waters, which is also here in Fresno, California. And Magic Mountains, Hurricane Harbor. Now, you would think out of those 3, Hurricane Harbor would be my favorite, but it's not, because their operations are not good, like just how quickly they get through.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know that like they have to wait for a certain point, but like they went well beyond that.
I don't know why. One of the newscasters from my area just moved to Fresno to do news there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just funny.
What station, actually?
I have no idea.
Oh, you don't know?
I have no clue.
Darn. But yeah. So because of that, I haven't had the best experiences at water park, and I haven't been there since 2014. So Wild Waters is actually my favorite. You can look it up online. Their slide collection isn't that amazing. But I enjoy it. It's fine. Like They have a sled, water slide, where you get to bounce on the water on a sled thing.
Oh,
I
I've
forget what
wanted
it's
to ride one
called.
of those so
Yeah, no,
bad.
we have one of those, which I'm
Adventure
like, those
Island
are
had
pretty
one.
unique, like all things considered.
Yeah,
So
that looks so cool.
that might be my favorite one there. I also like their half pipe slide, but I know those are like everywhere. So
Hmm.
um, I'm like water park GP basically.
Sorry, I got like sniffles and all that.
You're good. You're good.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. I probably want to wrap this up by I guess 9-10 your time. So let's see. You can pick out the questions next if you want to.
I like the question. Was there a specific coaster that inspired you to ruin your perception series? The thing about that is, I was on call with a few coaster friends, and we were just like looking at coasters, and we were like, "That ride does not look that tall. It does not.
Yeah.
Like Skyrush, that does not look like a hyper coaster. I'm gonna be honest. Even in person, it looks like 150 feet maybe. Like put that next to Conda. Like guess what the taller one is? You'd be surprised. The thing is, I decided to extend that series to stuff like length, and I've been doing stuff like that. I've been trying to do a ruin your perception on time video, but I feel like that wouldn't work.
Yeah, I think there's that wouldn't work because I think that's like, I mean, the other one is already pretty like subjective, but like that one kind of takes it to another level, I think.
I feel like I would do something similar to like, did you know Six Flags New Orleans and Hades at Mount Olympus coexisted? In the like millennials and Gen X are gonna look at that and be like, yeah, I remember that. Like, and like me
Yeah.
who grew up in the early 2000s, like was born in the early 2000s and didn't really get into coasters till like 2009, 2010. That shocks me.
Another one that's pretty whack. Speed the Ride and New Texas Giant both existed at the same time at
That's
one
a
point.
crazy one.
That's another one that's like, what?
That's weird. That's so weird.
So
Definitely.
yeah, and that was
Also-
before my time, so like as
Also,
an enthusiast.
for like 3 weeks in 2009, you could ride Diamondback and Son of Beast in the same day. And I think the thing that blows my mind is the most. You can go in 2007. You can go to Cedar Point and ride Maverick, and then go down the road to Geauga Lake and ride all the rides there. That doesn't seem right either. It doesn't. It really doesn't. That's crazy to me.
Yeah, some of that stuff is like it's so weird.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Yeah. It's just like some of those things are pretty weird. I think a video like that would be pretty cool. So
But I feel like there's also a group of people in like 10, 20 years that are going to be like, do you know that Vortex and Mystic Timbers coexisted? And that's just going to be a weird question. And to us who are like in this era, we're like, yeah, they existed at the same time. So
yeah.
I don't know. I guess it has to do with.
I feel like over time, like that stuff feels weird. I think like the further away you get from it, you
Yeah.
kind of forget. So it might surprise even us in a few years. Just well, at least me because I didn't go there. So
Yeah.
when that existed,
I loved Vortex so much.
yeah.
I like it more than Tennessee Tornado, actually. Funny enough.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's see. Favorite park for theming, Disneyland, California, pretty easily, and it might be my number one park. I'm still kind of deciding, but
I would have to say Magic Kingdom for me.
yeah,
Either that or I love Dollywood. I love Dollywood's theming so much. It's nowhere near to the extent, but it just really makes the park stand out. There's so much detail, an unbelievable amount.
yeah. And then this one's not coaster related, but I kind of liked it. Favorite restaurant not at an amusement park.
Now, are we talking chain or like specific restaurant?
I think we can answer both. Why not?
Fair enough. You go first.
Ooh, okay, so chain, and I literally one time we did a fast food tier list during one of these streams just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to think off of that what was my favorite. I think and this is kind of unpopular. I don't know if the quality died outside of California, which maybe is a very likely possibility, but Panda Express would have to be up there for one of my favorite
Oh, yeah.
chains.
I'm a big Panda Express guy. Are we talking only fast food though, or are we talking like?
I don't really have any like sit down type chains I love that I can think of off the top of my head.
I'm a huge Outback guy. I love
All
Outback.
right.
Do you have Buffalo Wild Wings in California?
We do, and I've never been. I'm not a wings guy.
Do you have a Quaker Steak and Lube in California?
We definitely do not have that, or at least not anywhere I am.
I think it's a northeastern thing. So and like, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just very regional. Like people in Pittsburgh and Cleveland and around that probably know what I'm talking about. There's one at Cedar Point, actually. Yeah, now that I think about it.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, there's one at the resort. Yeah.
Oh, well, that would make sense. That's why I didn't see it.
Canopy Coaster just said Quaker Steak is awful. I love Quaker Steak. I don't know what you're talking about.
Let's see. I guess for chains, and I'm only going off fast food, I'd say Panda Express, Chipotle, and I know Chick-fil-A is controversial for reasons, but food-wise, those would be like up there. So
milkshakes there, oh my goodness, they're so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like favorite restaurant, the problem is it's gonna be if I gave my favorite restaurant, it would be something that like you wouldn't know. So
same with me. Canopy just said Promani's is the best place to go in Pittsburgh. I actually have two in my area, Canopy. I live like decently close to Pittsburgh, and I have two in my general area, like in a driving distance. Promani's is so good. I love Promani's so much.
Yeah. I have not been to one. We don't have those around here as far as I'm aware, so.
The best restaurant I've ever been to, though, I know none of you have heard about it, is Elijah's in Wilmington, North Carolina. If that makes any difference whatsoever. If you're ever in that area, please go. It's so good.
I don't know. I don't know that I have a favorite restaurant I've ever been to, but for local stuff, if you ever find yourself stuck in Fresno, California for some unfortunate reason, or if Six Flags over Fresno ever gets built, I can't. That was like a joke we had on the stream, and then I don't know if you saw it, but there was a document that was actually like made.
Yeah.
About it, so it was funny when that happened. But anyways, if you ever find yourself in Fresno, Four Seasons is the best Chinese restaurant. I love Chinese food, so that would be my favorite there. And then we also have another place called Heirloom that's really good.
Yeah.
So those would be like my two recommendations, I suppose, of local stuff.
I don't like to say the exact like town I live in, but if you're ever in the Akron Youngstown area of Ohio, there's so many like Italian places there. Oh my goodness, it's crazy. Like so many good pizza places. It's great. And like family owned Italian places that just have that sort of charm that you don't experience at like Olive Garden. No offense to Olive Garden.
I haven't been there in an insane amount of times.
Yeah.
So yeah. But unless there are any other questions, I think that might just about do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Alrighty, I think we're gonna.
I had a great time. Thank you so much for having me on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it was awesome having you on.
Thank you.
Doing this, and I know it's been a bit of a long time coming, but it's definitely awesome to do this. So
I think it's the best case scenario for what night we could have done it.
Yeah, for sure. On my end too, because weeknights are a little risky for me. So.
Yeah.
Just depending on whatever is going on, but yeah.
One more thing about restaurants. Firehouse subs, phenomenal.
Alrighty. I don't know that I've had. I'm not a sub guy, but chain. Yeah, we have those, but okay. I have not had it. I don't believe, but might be something I'll look into. But with that being said, I guess. I was going to ask if you had any last things to say, but I think you basically went over it. So
yeah, of course.
But I guess if you do have anything last things to say, now would be your chance.
No, I really don't.
Alrighty.
I think I'm at peace.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Nick, for doing this. It was really awesome having you. And
Thank you so much for having me.
For all of you watching, thank you so much for watching. And yeah, I'll see you all next. I messed up the outro.
Oh man,
I'll take it from the top
it's
again.
2 a.m. for Roller Coaster Gaming, who's in, I believe, London.
Yeah, that's
I think you
wild.
said that earlier. That's crazy. Thanks for the commitment.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone who's watched, whether you're from the beginning to end, awesome to have you on here.
Thank you so much.
And then with that being said, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time here on Coaster Hour. See you guys.